Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want you to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't wanna tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know.
Okay, hey guys, welcome to the live. Sorry we're running late. That's Ivy's fault.
I'm sorry, it is.
There, she's not even gonna deny it. Look at, and Aspen's in the house, and
Hey, everyone.
Alexza's in the house. Yeah,
Well, technically, I'm not in the house.
you're not in the house. Yeah, you're out of the house. Anyways, happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had today off, Sunny. Did
Eh?
you have a good day? Did you enjoy your day off?
So far, yeah, I enjoy every day off. Who am I kidding?
We'll try not to ruin it for you.
I was gonna say no, yeah, no. It was like, oh yeah, right. I got to do a live today. My whole schedule last week was like 12 to 8. Talking about that one soaks up your entire day, but whatever, right? You gotta
Right.
take the good with the bad shifts. But yeah, and then we just moved like the office, so now it's like, oops, over the bridge, 2-minute walk.
That's
Anyway.
so awesome.
Yeah, Deb's in the house. Okay, and I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, Shelly was here until I blocked her. Sorry. She had blocked me quite a while back, and so do unto others as they do unto you on there. I just want to keep people in here that I actually like. Or anyway, so yeah. Hi, Shelly. Bye, Shelly. Hi, Hez L. Hi, Ben. There's a favorite male mod right there. Ben's always, he's such a great mod. He's always there, no matter what the topic is. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, there's Deb right there.
Hey, Deb.
Louise is in the house.
Hey, Louise. Good to see you.
Yeah. There's Alexa, and then Sharon Parker. No offense, Deb. Hi, Sharon Parker, my favorite female mod. Deb won't mind. And let's see, Deb's True Crime Notebook. And thank you. Yeah, I was looking at her the other day. I think, last time I looked, I think she was at like 1.34 subscribers. I'm not sure what she's at today. That was about a week or so ago, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'm glad.
She's crossed that threshold.
Yeah.
She's just, I think, deciding whether she's going to or how she wants to do it.
Yeah,
But
exactly. I was going to say, pumping out
feel proud of her.
videos and stuff like that. Deb knows we love her.
And I could listen to her read a document all day long.
Tell Aspen to hurry up.
I really appreciate those videos.
Yeah. Deb, if I'm going to be honest, I probably watched one. And it's only because I literally, honestly, when I'm done work, I don't even.
But Sonny, for someone that doesn't like to read the court documents, listening to Deb read
You
them,
know what? I should. I guess I should.
it really does. It really can help connect to a different part of your brain.
Yeah, because I
Think
really.
the type of learner you are.
Yeah, I really don't like reading documents. Like, I don't mind reading, but when I don't feel comfortable in my own element, and documents are not one of those things, then the documents for the most part bore me to death because it's not my personal forte, but
Even the
it's like
footnotes.
the 27-page one. Yeah, I went to go read it, and I landed like I literally made it a page and a half, and then I was like, yeah, fuck this, I ain't reading all this. It's meaning because it was about the same thing. It was about why that they should allow the third party odinistic stuff in and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I don't need to read the whole thing. That's basically, what they're saying is that, we demand for these rights for the justice system, this amendment right and this amendment. It said, what was it, 6 and 14 or something like that. Hi, 1970 hippies. How are you? Hi, support with Steffa. How are you? Love you, girly. I'm Miranda. And Susie's in the house, and Zero
Hey,
Cool.
Susie, good. I met Susie when I was in Indiana, so it's good
Yeah.
to see you, Susie. And she didn't even tell me it was her birthday the day I met her. So
Oh.
as long as it's the same Susie, I think it is.
Is it the T? That one? Yeah. There we go. Oops, my bad. There was somebody else I was saying. Oh, Teddy. Teddy's in the house. Let's see here. Oh, hey, Frank. Long time, bud.
Hey, Frank. Good to see you. Frank did a live earlier today. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I did see that he had done one.
Oh, okay. I'm not even up to speed with Delphi whatsoever. I'm honestly just waiting for the trial part of it, and I think it sucks. I really don't think that we'll be able to see that unless you're in the courtroom. I feel like I would love to watch Delphi. I would love to be able to see Delphi.
Come on over.
Yeah. Hey.
I said, come on over.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, Travis.
Hey, Travis. How are you? Let's see here. Anybody else I'm missing?
I saw a couple. I saw Rescue All the Dogs in here, who I also met in Indiana. So it's good to see you. There's the Unhinged. Great video earlier today. If I do say so. I thought it was good.
Hey, Figgy, I got through about 10 minutes of your video. That's how long I lasted. No offense to your video. Just my attention span sucks. Some days it's good and other days it sucks. You better start listening or I'm going to fly to Canada and give you a spanking. Well, Dad, don't tease me with such good news.
Sonny, no, she won't. She didn't even drive to Delphi to see me.
Oh, there's Lacey. Lacey was waiting to see on camera last time. I think she was having convulsions, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, pretty much. Lacey, like, she wears a bib going, where's Aspen?
I also saw Lisa in here, so good to see Lisa.
Oh, yeah, Lisa's in here. I see that. There we are. Yeah, it's me, Aspen. Oh, there's Jinx. Hey, Jinx. Hey, all you lovely panel peeps in chat. Phil Bond's in the house. SP74.
Good to see you, Jinx. Good to see you, SP. Good to see you, Phil.
Okay. Yeah. So, hey, everyone. Thank you forever who's coming in to watch and all that good stuff.
And hello to Alexa and Ivy Rose.
Of course. I know. Yeah. I was going to say, because, yeah, I mean, it's been a while, eh, Ivy?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Hey, can you hear my air conditioner in the background?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No.
You probably hear the locusts outside of my house.
I can hear the
No,
locusts.
those are nice, though. That just sounds like summer.
Let me know if a moth gets too close to that flame there. It's on fire.
There's Charmaine. She's only in chat tonight. She's busy, I think, with the grandbabies on there. I think she is. Yeah. It's kind of like I said, I can only really do lives when I can do them. And honestly, I think maybe this is like a second Delphi in months or something like that.
Right. And you covered the Jay Slater case pretty extensively in the UK. So.
Yeah. And just whatever cases. You said that there was somebody missing out of North Carolina as well.
Yeah, there's a 27-year-old female missing. Is it South Carolina or North Carolina? I just saw it today. so I was going to look it up. And of course, haven't had a chance yet today.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, honestly, so during my downtime, I watch Monkey BB, but I always look, there's some stories that are out there, and it feels like the creators are all over the map with different ones. It seems like there's a ton of cases, going on and stuff like that. And lots of times I watch them, but I just don't like do a live on them, but I just
Right.
maybe, hear them. Anyways, let's ignore me right now. So Ivy, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah,
Good. I'm trying to look over some of the stuff that I told myself I was going to read before I got on and
Oh,
didn't.
okay. So that's kind of like me. Or I had about 3 hours and I decided I was going to nap.
The
Alexa,
evening went by super fast.
what?
How it became this late so fast.
I know, right? Alexa, what about you? Alexa, I think you just came back from a party or something.
Yeah, and I actually went just because I really had to go. It's one of my best friends, and she had a birthday party, and I came home. I mean, I never should have left. And my kids had a vaccine the other day. They were vaccinated, and now one of them has like this horrible reaction
Oh,
that he's dizzy. Yeah, he really scared me because like his eyes were like really rolling to the back of his head. Like he really, really scared me. So, but I got on the phone with the doctor, and the doctor's like, you know what? That's normal. That's just a
oh,
reaction. Yeah, I was like, are you kidding me? I never seen this in 11 years. But he's like, no, don't worry. Just keep an eye on him. So today, I'm sorry, he's here with me. So if I seem a little distracted, I mean, he's a little. Well, I gave him a Tylenol right now, so he's a little.
yeah. Aw.
So I probably have to go back and forth, back and forth. So
Mm.
I apologize in advance.
There's one person, there's probably that one person in here going, can you just shut up and get on to Delphi?
Yeah, or like, who cares about your kids? Like, stop being distracted, right? Like that lady once told me, like, you seem so distracted. Like, stop talking to the side. You should be talking to the camera.
Or you roll your eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm as anonymous. How are you? Okay, so as I said, honestly, besides them shooting back, different, like Faith keeps sending me them, like the things like, well, I think she just has us all on a mass email now that it goes out to all of us. She's like, here's the paperwork, here's the paperwork. And the last time we did a live, Aspen, obviously you had gone to Delphi there, like I said, met some people over there while you were down there and was in the courtroom. So that was super cool for you. Even it was a last minute thing that you had done.
I don't know if I told you that or not, but Faith asked me recently. She goes, I don't hear from Sunny anymore. Does she not follow the case?
It's because when I'm looking at my phone, I don't usually use my phone unless I'm at work. And so then I see something come in on the email. And usually on my break, I might say, like, thanks, Faith. But I actually haven't said anything the last 5 times because I honestly just forget. And so I was just thinking to myself, oh, I need to message back. Oh, Miranda's going to get to listen to the new song, the new clip. I've missed you all. Glad to see Alexa and Ivy tonight.
And hey, real dragon, good to see you.
Who, Real Dragon?
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, we'll wait for it. We'll see how long it takes for that to go off. Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Good to see Heather as well. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. I was going to say, these, it's kind of like you see all the names and you're like, most of them are like, yeah, there's the Delphi crew. I mean, don't get me wrong. Delphi still means like a huge amount to me. Personally, I'm honestly just waiting for the court dates to happen, and sometimes you just get a little bit burnt out, and the court document stuff, literally, if I was just being honest, it makes me want to throw up. I just cannot stand how many documents were coming out and I don't understand them. It's like, no, I understand the gist of them, but the lingo is far beyond my words that I even like to pronounce every day. And it's just, like the battle. And it's just not my forte. And so it's just kind of like, and with working and stuff, it's just really hard to,
Well, it's a different ball game when you're working 8 hours a day as well.
honestly, because I have to fix issues all day long, right? I have to like I said, deal with customers all day long where I have to fix their issues. I'm mentally exhausted by the end of it. I just am wiped out by the end of it usually.
But there's
'Cause
nothing mentally exhausting about YouTube. So
Yeah,
I,
there. I don't know why it's doubling up. There we go. I thought I.
Glad to see Alexza and Delphi. You're all the best. Smiling faces, hearts, heart.
Thank you again, Miranda. Hi, Lone Pony. Nice to see you. Okay, so I know that Ivy, in just a bit here, Ivy will get into that. You were asking Alexa about the dependent personality disorder. Actually, let me ask you this. The reason why you were asking that was because of Richard Allen?
yes. I'm sorry.
Yes, it was, from what I understand at least, the psychologist from the prison.
Yeah.
That was one of his diagnoses. I don't know if it was from her or from previous medical records, though.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we'll get into that in just a bit. Aspen, last two documents that came out. I think this is one of them. The memorandum. I think there was two of them that came out today.
This was the one that came out. I got it. I got it yesterday, but it came out this morning. I think they sent it out late yesterday, but it hit the docket this morning. So then I got it again from the clerk this morning, and then the two orders came out today.
So what are the two orders that came out today?
The two orders.
I did read them, but I didn't stick in my brain.
The basic gist is that she denied the motion to dismiss, and then she partially denied the motion for to compel and for sanctions. But she did grant the defense the request they'd made during the hearing that the state have 7 days to respond, to send them things after the date of receipt. So, if they get something, they have to turn it over within 7 days, within the date of the receipt, and then both parties agreed to turn over their exhibits for trial by October 21st, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
But I mean that was basically the nothing unexpected.
Okay.
In my opinion.
So wait, just so that I'm clear in my head. So does this have they determined if they can have the third party?
No, that determination has not been made.
Okay. Let me ask you guys all this. Do you hope that they allow the whole third party, some other dude did it thing? Some other dudes did it.
Absolutely, I do. I think it will be bad if they don't allow it. Let me preface that a little bit. Whether it should legally be allowed in or not, I'm not saying that. But for the case in general, I think it will be bad if she doesn't allow it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably an odd opinion, but
I think that they should allow it, to be honest with you. That's my thoughts. I try. What do you think?
Alexa, do you want to answer first, or I don't know if you had to run out. But
Can you answer? Yeah, hold on. I'll be right back.
After sitting there and listening to that entire hearing, I mean, I don't know if I heard anything that met the burner standard that they would need to get it admitted with some of them.
Right.
But I personally want the third party included. I don't know if legally it warrants the third party based on what I heard. But I do think it's in everyone's best interest that they be allowed to present the evidence that they want to, as long as it doesn't waste the jury and the court's time.
Let's see. Teddy says, I say that they let the third party because if the evidence is against Alan, it will show the jury how dumb the third party defense is. Well, that's my thinking.
And like I said, in the third party, there's, there are different circumstances, I think, depending on which of those individuals you're talking about. I mean, I think, the fact that Ron Logan, I mean, I know he has an alibi, whatever, but I mean, just the fact that they were found on his land, and that, he lied about his alibi originally. To me, that, he probably legally meets the standard to be like, you could go after, him as a third party defense, but I think they also have conclusively can say that he didn't do it, which is why the defense didn't pick that one in the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
Alexza, what do you think?
I agree. I think, why not? I mean, I think it's the best to have it, be admissible in court. This way, nobody will have that in their back of their mind and saying, oh, but, back
That's
in the
what I
day,
think.
we heard KK or we heard whoever.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think it's
Kind of like,
Mhm.
here you go. Put that versus the confessions.
Yeah. Mhm.
All 61 of them.
Yep.
And then, and I just feel like it would
Correct.
be fair. If they want to try to play that card and, I just feel it would be fair that, whatever they allow, they should allow whatever parts of that third party in there myself. Because again, I think that people would feel like justice wasn't served if almost that they didn't do it.
Is it fair though to let's say there's there's conclusive evidence that that clears the people that they're accusing? Is that then fair to them to have their names rung through the ring of a trial? I mean, their names already are forever going to be linked to this case.
I would argue with that though. If there's clear evidence that they weren't involved, wouldn't it at this point in the game be better for that to be presented so there's no question hanging over their head forever?
Kind of clean your name kind of thing forever.
I guess I get that. I get that actually too.
Right, but I mean, if the testimony that like we've heard in the hearing, like those detectives, weren't able to place them there, all of those things, and I don't want to get into all of that. I just, I agree because I agree with you. I think I hope it does get included. I do think there are other factors that have to be considered though, so I know how complicated it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't know shit all about the laws and what they allow or evidence and stuff like that. Just the basics of it all. I just feel like, at the end of the day, whatever is let in, but I hope that at least, that side of it can be shown because I'd personally, my gut feeling is, like it's so absurd and you're going to try to sell that shit to a jury. But okay, if they're all freaking 12 members or I guess, what does it take? One to, I guess, but it's one of those things. It's like I said, I don't know. It just feels like it was part of the investigation at the start. And I just don't think that, I don't know. To me, Richard Allen is guilty in my jury box here. I don't think that it's Odinist group or multiple people thing. I think that Richard Allen, is guilty myself. Yeah, and honestly, I just want to see what the prosecution has, to be honest with you, and if it's enough to make a jury say guilty, 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 guilty. Wait, has he been moved? Or are they moving him or no?
Yeah, he's now under safekeeping order and being held at the Cass County.
So he is. So they finally got their way. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's going to be placed there through trial.
Say that again.
For anyone that was sitting in the hearings that day, that was the very first hearing. It was basically we sat there for like an hour and none of the attorneys really, you know, everyone's kind of like, yeah, we don't care. So it was of no surprise when she ruled the way she did on that.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Cast down.
I'm not quite sure what changed between last time and this time, but
So basically, go ahead, Ivy. Ivy, were you saying something?
Oh no.
Oh, I was going to say, because we're just under what, 2 months? October 13th? Is that
Something. Yeah.
jury selection begins on the 14th.
the 14th? Okay.
The first day of trial in Carroll County is the 18th, as of right now.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I had the 13th in my head. Maybe because 13's everywhere typically. I guess. I don't know.
Right, and the jury, the questionnaires went out last week, I guess. They should be back, I think, by the 21st. And then when they start doing the jury selection, they're going to interview 50 jurers a session. They'll have a morning session and an afternoon session for 3 days, and that's how they'll narrow down. Because last time they sent out 600 and got 450 back. So, you know, because some people just don't return them.
Yeah.
Or they move, they don't update their address.
Yeah, exactly. Fig says if the defense was so sure it was Odinist, then why even bring KK or RL into that filing? If they truly thought it was KK, then why bring up RL and Odinist, etc.?
I definitely think that for as much time as they spent on Keegan Klein, I think they did that as a plan B if the other stuff doesn't get allowed in. Because if not, then like, what are they going to do?
That's what I was kind of thinking. What do you think, Alexa?
I'm sorry. Say it again. I'm so sorry.
Well, it's kind of like, so if they believe the Odinists do it, so why bring in KK and RL?
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, they're trying to see what sticks. I think they're throwing everything in to see what sticks. Yeah, because I mean, if you're 100% is ordinate,
Yeah.
why do you need to bring anything else or third parties or whatever? Unless it follows the same route, but it doesn't. So
Sunny, your avatar is me.
Why do you keep changing it to you? You little bugger.
I did it. How could I change your avatar?
That's twice now. When I came in on the other live, right?
Last week,
So
yeah.
when you come in, Adam, and do your recordings, whatever it must be doing, because I was sitting there last time going, why do I have Adam's avatar on my thing?
Stop impersonating me. I'm not Anthony Shots.
One sec.
Hey, crime jester.
Let me see. Gotta edit avatar. Yeah. Here, we'll put there. There we go. I didn't even notice that. There would be two of us in here. Anyways, let's see here. Sorry. Hi, Crime Jester. Thank you for subscribing, Jennifer Dickerson. You know, there's one thing I keep noticing is the bad boys doesn't seem to go off for some reason. And I don't know why. Like normally when somebody's subscribed, like the bad boys music plays. I don't know why it just stopped. I was looking at that today, but it's hard when you're not in a live to sit there and see why it's not working. But it was like, but that was one thing I noticed a few months back. I was like, why isn't that going off? But anyways, that's like a side matter there. Teddy says, I think with all the hijinks, it will be apparent to the jury that defense can't prove anything no matter what defense strategy they have. You know, I mean, like I said, I would love to be that fly on the wall. Do any of you guys think that this is going to be on like a channel kind of like they do with Idaho and stuff that we'll be able to watch it, or no, or just no? I just feel no. I just feel no is the answer.
It's
here.
Equipped. I mean, it's equipped for them to do it. So if they don't, it's purely, because of the judge's choice. And really selfishly, of course, I want them to do it, but I can see points for both both yes and no.
Yeah, selfishly, I just want. Go ahead, Ivy.
I can't really see points for not doing it with the court's cameras.
You can what? I'm sorry.
I can't really see the point because you said you can see points on both sides. I don't really see the point
I'm
for
sorry.
like making it available like streaming or whatever through the court's cameras they have that they control. To me, that's part of an open court in this day and age.
Oh no, I agree with you. I know that in a lot of recent trials, you know, regardless of who operates the footage, jury members are shown, exhibits are shown that shouldn't be. You know, Carroll County has clearly never had a case, you know, this magnitude, and you know, so then who operates those cameras in the Carroll County courthouse to ensure?
I wonder why they don't just like point them directly to the front and just leave them.
Well, there's one or two in the back, and there's two pointed towards the gallery that are like kind of on the right and left side of the judge above.
I say just have one, have it point to the judge and like whatever that little spot is where like the witnesses go.
Yeah, we're the witness.
Right.
Yeah.
And just leave it and be done with it.
Right. I mean, I get the media thing because I mean, even these hearings, the second day, they increased security because someone had tweeted from the courtroom the first day. So I'm like, every time, like, you know, someone tries to break the rules.
I know, but those rule breakers will always be there.
And I don't. This isn't just like a Delphi thing because I want to see it. I think that there should be cameras streaming in every courtroom, unless it's like a family court or something like that.
I agree with you.
I mean, it definitely won't be the same. I want to watch all the evidence come out. I want to watch it all. You know, I would love to see that stuff.
I'd even take the audio with no picture.
I'd even take the audio. Same. You know, because you can still get the sense of what's going on. Yeah. Yeah. Is anyone in chat or Aspen, are you going back or no?
Hello.
Don't hate.
I'm not going to the hearing on the 23rd. No.
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 Not for a I mean, only half of the day is even open to the public. Like I said, I think I've spent enough money going to Delphi, Indiana this summer.
Oh, I know, right? I mean, I know the last trip was not planned, you know, but I'm glad you got to meet, you know, some people and stuff like that. You know, those are memories that you can never lose.
Now trial. I mean, I absolutely plan on, you know, at least going for a day or two.
Well, another thing about trial is how many open seats are there? Like
that's the thing is there won't, you know, it was a completely full courtroom for these hearings. There's going to be a lot more people trying to get in for the actual trial.
Oh.
There's literally only like 30 open seats, aren't there?
I mean, they block off the entire first row for security purposes. And then like the family section alone was like the first 3 or 4 rows fully behind the prosecution table. And then there's only like 6 rows and you know, on each side of the center aisle. So
yeah,
there's a few tables and chairs in the back where some of the media will sit, but
that's so crazy to me.
I mean, it's tiny.
I was gonna say, my pictures are too much buried, but I mean, I know that you know, Kyle before us sent me pictures inside the courtroom. I'm pretty sure I could.
And you get into the whole. I don't want to call it a constitutional right. I don't know if it actually is constitutional or not, but somewhere there's like a thing about the public having access to the court, like an open door type of thing. And in a case like this, it's like with such a small courtroom, is that even really? I don't know what you want to call it. I'm having trouble with words today.
Well, look at the Karen Reed courtroom. I mean, all they have to do is provide an open court. They don't have to provide more than 2 seats. Still open
That's
to the
what I
public.
mean. Like, I guess it's like more like theoretic, like a theory. You want to argue, not like actually in practice, because when it gets down to it, they do whatever they want. But
Right. I do
if
hope
you
that's
only,
something that's addressed in the future, though.
yeah, if you only allow, like 10 open seats, is that really allowing the public to witness it?
Oh, thank you,
As
Adam.
by
In my-
the by the definition of the Constitution, or the way it stands now, yes. But it was written at a time when that wasn't, cameras weren't a thing. So
Mhm.
what does it constitute now to have an open courtroom?
I'm going to be right back because I have somebody here that keeps, this person keeps bothering me every time that I'm on the live. They never bother me, but every time I'm on a live, this little person keeps coming.
Yeah, which one?
Little A.
Hello,
Coming and coming and coming and coming.
hi, buddy.
And it distracts me because he's like there with lights, and I'm like, I'm talking, and I lose my.
Okay, we'll see you in a sec, Alexa.
Their
Aspen.
courtrooms in Indiana are just like gorgeous. I don't know why, but they're all so pretty.
It's because they're old. They're like old, right? Like
They're
the very
gorgeous.
old architecture.
Yeah, but I mean, there are a lot of old buildings in.
Yeah. Oh, Aspen, you popped out for a sec.
But no, Indiana can build some courthouses. I mean, the 3-story rotunda, and then like you can't even see like the beautiful like stained glass windows that are like on the ceiling of the Carroll County courthouse, and like both corners of the courtroom are like the turrets, they call them, where it's kind of like rounded, and you can't really tell that from the picture. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, very cool buildings, but
very
very
cool.
small.
They just need better AC and more comfortable seats. But no, that's it. That actually makes it look bigger than it is.
Yeah, the other one was let me see here. The other one, I think it was this one you sent. One sec. This one.
Oh, they're so tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about Rose, and you think in my brain, like even Rose, I picture being wider than that in that room, but it's so small.
And like so, the cameras that they have now that are installed are like kind of like I said, above like where those or those light fixtures are, to the right and left of the judge's seat.
Mm-hmm.
And just for the record, the three chairs on the defense side, as of right now, do not match. They're 3 separate chairs, and it really bothered me all 3 days. There was not a uniform.
You're in a rural area, can't even afford matching furniture.
I'm sure they do. They just pulled it in from like another room. And I'm like, can we just get matching chairs, please?
I feel like that's like a thing around here.
It triggered my OCD a little bit. 4 actually, because there was Richard Allen was in one of them.
Did you see Faith this time?
I did not. No. I also don't want to bother any of the deputies because we're kind of like that we're kind of like stationed around the courthouse. They would have been like, why is he going into the clerk's office?
Yeah. See, I have no boundaries when it comes to that stuff.
But she probably has a restraining order against me.
A few minutes ago, when you were speaking about why they added KK and Ron Logan, I'd say for sure because KK is showing a false confession. I'd say for sure because KK is showing a false confession.
Can't use much say like to breathe.
Not sure I understand that, actually. What does that mean? What does that mean to my brain? I'd say
right. Maybe because he like said things like
oh, right, that bullshit.
And they took his word. They literally took Keegan Klein's word and spent searching the Wabash River.
Weird.
Honestly, can't stand looking at that dude. Ugh. Like any pedo. Ugh. Ugh.
He's officially been like he was sentenced over a year ago now, so he's
Good. Rotten hell, buddy. Rotten
right.
hell.
You're
Yeah.
exactly where you deserve to be. Piece of trash.
Yeah. Well, we'll see when Alexa's back. Alexa, are you back?
Real quick, do either of you know where a timeline of things that have happened in prison is that would be easily accessible? I meant to get that today.
Meaning,
Yeah.
like since like October 26th when Alan was arrested, or do you mean like court
Like-
events?
Like when he got in there, when he was actually suicidal, when the his medication, like the Haldol and the Wallace stuff, basically.
Criminality.
I have all of those dates. I don't have them. I don't have them like. I don't have
Yeah,
them.
I meant to like
right
make an
now.
actual timeline, but I forgot, and it's kind of
Yeah,
important. So what
that's
I
I'll
was
like-
I can have Tom Webster do a
I was gonna say that's like a Tom Webster thing.
well, hopefully when Alexa gets back, the stuff we were going to talk about, hopefully it'll make sense without having that.
I mean, if I can always refer to it. If you have any direct questions, it wouldn't take me long to find them.
Okay.
The
Big,
dates and stuff.
Big asked a question that kind of had to do with that a little bit. He said, earlier he asked why has the defense not had requested a mental health evaluation for Alan, and then he clarified and said an official one is like a court authorized assessment to determine the mental state in relation to legal standards. But I don't know. I would assume the reason they haven't done that is because they haven't made any claims of like competency to stand trial or an insanity plea.
Well, and that's something that I think is important because with all of these information that has come out about whether he was and to me if he was in psychosis, if he wasn't in psychosis, no one ever has legally raised the issue of competency, and so without that, once you do that, it starts a ball rolling, but you have to legally start the ball rolling, and
I don't
it
think
doesn't appear that that's been done.
To me, it sounds like his competency isn't in question anymore.
Anymore, but I mean, it was by at least it was at one point by his psychologist.
Right. Yeah.
Did that? I can't remember if that overlapped with the trial time or not.
I'm sorry. No, I mean like when he was in, like, I mean, Walla thought for she questioned his competency, but there was never any legal request or anything made to go into it further.
I wonder when that usually happens.
And no one from the administrative side of the correctional facility, I think, started that ball rolling either.
Well, I was gonna say, let's get on to this thing that you got going here. This dependent personality disorder.
Yeah.
Let me make this as big as I can without it being.
I don't know. I'm gonna.
Okay, Alexa. I think someone just asked a question. Actually,
let me go back. Hold on.
I'll do right back.
It was Deb, I think.
I think it was Deb.
Yeah, because I answered Ben. I would like to hear what Alexa thinks about some of our behaviors while he's being in prison. Well, I mean, I think it's completely normal. I mean, I know that obviously he had I am pretty sure he had mental illness, and I know. I mean, I haven't read any documents, but I've heard that people had said that he had suffered from some mental illnesses before. But you have to understand when you go into prison, even if you don't have any mental illnesses, you start experiencing paranoia, just from being confined, 24/7. You go from your daily life to being here with your thoughts, I guess your conscience, whatever you want to call it. PTSD is very common, depression, paranoia, psychosis,
Anxiety. Yeah.
anxiety. Yeah. So I think he was probably prone to this. And I guess now being here, it's really, you know, I think he's being triggered more. And
Oh,
that's what we're seeing. All those attacks that he's having, it's pure, from being incarcerated. And I think it's probably going to get worse.
Do you think, Alexa? Do you think it matters as well that, I mean, not only like, I mean, which it was conceded by I think Rosie one of the days where he said, like I'm sure someone in Richard Allen's situation who's never been to jail, like of course this is going to be
Yeah.
a
Traumatic.
traumatic experience, but I mean, it definitely changes the parameters as well when you enter a facility under any circumstance, but when you already enter the facility under a very specific guideline that you don't, that one, you're not convicted, and
Mhm.
two, you don't have because of your status, you don't have, you're so restricted. So not only did he have to adjust to prison, but he had to go straight into adjusting into basically solitary.
Yeah, solitary
Um,
confinement. Yeah.
Because when Westville is not the one that classified him as, as the wanting to unalive himself. He came classified as that from RDC.
Yeah, and there was one thing that Walla testified to was that he was basically going to be on suicide watch in the beginning, at least, whether he was suicidal or not. It was like a preemptive, which I would like to know. Like, is that how they typically do things, or I don't know.
I know in other prisons that I've seen and that I know only if you're prone to. Not every person that comes in is in suicide watch.
I want to
Right.
say,
It was
But I don't know how is it in Indiana. I mean, I know New York, New Jersey, but I don't know
yeah.
how it's in Indiana.
based on based on the psychologist that did the intake form from the RDC. I think the decision was made based on the testimony I heard. I think they made the decision based on his prior history, and the profile of what he was being accused of.
I
But
guess I
even
can
if
see
it wasn't on suicide, it still would not have changed the safekeeping order. Like that, that still would have carried over with a lot of the same restrictions.
I think I could slightly understand the murder part, but to me, there's no way that they're going to do that with every person who comes into prison who has a history of mental illness or suicide attempts and they're in a stressful situation. The resources just aren't there for that. That would be impossible.
Exactly.
absolutely. Laura says, I can answer that, Ivy.
I already forgot what the question is that we're answering.
Yeah, same.
Well,
What was the question?
in 2023, there were 36 pretrial detainees in DOC custody under safekeeping orders.
Mm-hmm.
So, and 8 of those I think were like taken off of it. But so it's definitely not common.
Okay, so this going to this DPD disorder, Ivy, you wanted to ask Alexza stuff.
There was a few things I found because I was, to be completely honest, I was not familiar with this at all. It's something that I've never heard of anybody having it, and to my memory, I don't even remember it ever being brought up or talked about during my schooling time. So it was something I had to definitely read up on, and unless I'm just coincidentally not around anybody who has it, it sounds like it's fairly rare. From what I read, it's more common in females than males, but males do have it. But
Really? Because I was talking to somebody that actually, because like I told you, I knew the basics. I've heard it. I never seen anybody. But I was talking to a friend that is a psychiatrist, and they said that actually is more common in males
really,
than in females. Yeah.
I don't know what the stats were. I think that's the only thing that I didn't have pulled up is the little blurb on that.
That would be interesting to study now. Yeah, but she said especially in because she's also a criminologist, and she said that it's more in males, and it's almost like psychopathy. Not everybody that is the unalives people
Hey,
is
Susie.
not every psychopath unalives people, but every SK is a psychopath. And she said it comes the same thing with the dependent personality
Oh,
disorder.
here it is. So it's in the article I sent you in the epidemiology portion. It said that women are 40% more likely than men to be diagnosed with it.
Well, to be diagnosed.
With that, which part's that? Okay, well, you know what? I'll just believe you.
Yeah.
I mean, have
And
you ever left your husband alone for more than an hour and not had him try to text you or call you?
Okay. So that fear of separation issue, I have that badly. I literally have that really bad.
this is,
Yeah.
but you have to remember too, though, that like I don't know, there's a difference between having like relationship tendencies that are unhealthy and having a personality disorder.
Okay. I'd say that mine's like okay. Just tell me what I have here because I get such anxiety. Tell me if this is the same. Because I don't like the fear of separation. I think it's because, so for instance, if my husband doesn't answer his texts almost immediately, like when I say immediately within a couple minutes, or if he hasn't answered back within a half an hour, I start sweating. I start getting anxiety so bad because I think that something's happened to him, and instantly I picture my life without him. That something bad has happened, and I cannot control it. And it's like I hate it. Like when he's home with me, then I feel like he's safe. And I know it probably comes back from childhood shit and stuff like that. But honestly, that's probably my one thing is that but I'm not passive.
That sounds more anxiety
Oh,
based
oh,
than they're going to leave me based.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's my fear of somewhat of death. Like when you love someone so much that for me, that when maybe I think it's to do for me personally, like with just tons of knowing that someone can die in an instant, and blah blah blah. I'm very much aware of all that stuff, so it's kind of like, I don't know. It was just I would usually start cleaning the house with my ex-husband, and then when I stopped
Mhm.
cleaning it, he goes, "Oh, don't you miss me anymore?" Not really, asshole.
Yeah, it's not healthy. So Fig said something like he was asking, well, if Ari is mentally ill, Richard Allen is mentally ill. Like, I don't think there's any question about that. I don't know why people are questioning that. That
Yeah.
has no bearing on whether he is guilty or not. And I think that's where people are getting confused. I think some people are feeling like if we if we talk about Richard Allen's mental illness or being psychotic at some point, that we are in turn saying he's innocent, and that is not the case. Both can be true at the same time, but he has a mental illness. There's no question about that.
Hey, where did Alexa go? Alexa, let's go. Yeah. You
I'm
hiding?
here. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Sorry. I,
No, I'm here. Sorry.
I wanted this part to be about you guys and this whole like. Okay,
Yeah.
why?
No, I was just trying to find the email of them, my friend. But I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I think.
My thing is,
He was even he was even hospitalized for more than 1 week in 2019 for mental health.
so if anyone believes that Richard Allen did it, right? Why the fuck would he do this? Why do you what would be the reason behind this? Is
So-
it some sort of go ahead?
So let me give like a little bit of a background about this. Isn't always how it is, but often, I'm just gonna say DPD for short, it stems from kids having avoidant attachment styles, and that comes from early childhood and parenting. Basically, like a secure attachment style is what is the best and the healthiest and leads to like the best outcomes in people. And that is the typical, if you think about like a 1-2-year-old, how their parents are their safe spot, and then they'll go out a little bit, they'll venture out, they'll come back, they'll venture out more, and they'll come back. The parents are always the safe spot.
Right.
And then the parents, if there's something that goes wrong, they take care of their needs, they can depend on their parents. When it's
Right.
not like that, it can lead to attachment styles that are not healthy, and that leads to usually issues as an adult.
Like their birth father not being there.
Yes. So, like, I don't know the exact details, but Richard Allen's, the man he calls his father, is not his bio dad, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
So we don't really know what went on there, but it's not that crazy to imagine that maybe there was some attachment issues early in his life. So then one of those styles can be an anxious attachment, and those people are similar to like the DPD. Not every person with anxious attachment is going to have a personality disorder, but it's that they get very like anxious about being abandoned, things of that sort. And what originally piqued my interest about this is the part where he told his wife very early, if this is too much for you, let me know. Because one of the things that people with DBD do is they will do things that are bad for them in order to keep people they love around.
Right.
Is someone echoing, or is that just me?
No, somebody. I think Ivy is echoing a bit there.
Is it me?
Yeah, it is. It was you, because I could tell when you came in there was a tad bit of an echo, but it's not too bad.
Let me. You may go out and come back in.
Oh no, I don't think it's too bad, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's nothing where it's throwing me off at all.
Yes, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ivy.
That's what piqued my interest originally, and then looking more into it, it makes sense why.
Actually, go out and come back in.
Okay, yeah, I can.
After that one, I was like, yeah, I double talking. So Alexza Sleuthy says, what patients with DBAD typically require much reassurance, advice when making ordinary decisions, often let others, usually one person, take responsibility for many aspects of their life. Well, I definitely don't have DBD.
Yeah.
No.
You know, and I would like, I can't wait to hear Alexa's, take on the whole situation. But it was interesting the way that they brought that up in court, because, I didn't have a clear understanding of whoever diagnosed him with that. It was just referenced, as a factor when it came to his relationship with his wife.
I'd like to know that too.
And so the full details of it were never discussed in court. So I'm not sure who diagnosed him with that, when, or, even any of the details. It was just literally it was said in passing, basically, when they were talking about how he, connected to his wife, the relationship he has with her.
Is this better?
Yes.
So far.
So,
go ahead.
I have to remember what I was. So in addition to the stress that we've all talked about solitary and all of that, being away from his wife would magnify that by a lot. So all that together would definitely make sense that it could trigger like a temporary psychosis. And then another way to look at it is going back to what you asked a little bit ago about like what would make somebody do this.
Yeah.
I think a few people have talked about the potential triggers for this, but there was like two pretty big things that happened in his life prior to the murders. There was his daughter became engaged like the November before, so like 3 or 4 months, I believe. And then his brother-in-law, so his wife's brother, died in a motorcycle accident. I want to say in like maybe August of 2016. Don't quote me on that one. So it wouldn't be out of the norm for her to be not available to him like she typically is, even if she is physically available, maybe not emotionally available for those months leading up to that. And that could really set him off too if he actually does have this personality disorder.
Yeah, like for me, I'm just kind of torn. Like I could like in my head wrap my brain around the fact with Richard Allen, if it was because a family member of Abby's or Libby's was the cause of this motorcycle accident or something that would trigger anger and hate.
There also has never been any allegation or indication by any party involved that this played a factor in the possible motive of anything. So I
Correct.
mean, someone could do a horrible thing that just happens to have this personality disorder, and it would probably really start to become an issue once they are separated from their family.
And this honestly just could have been perhaps one of these things where he frequented the trails all the time. And perhaps, in his twisted mind, there, maybe it was just one of those things. Like I said, maybe this little seedling inside of him was just churning for many years and, going to the trails, perhaps, just again seeing these children, whatever, who knows, like kids crossing the bridge, maybe just, something here said, yeah, I'm just gonna, do this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, inside, you'd have to be inside somebody's brain to understand what's going on, obviously. But
or have a written or verbal statement of them explaining what was in their head,
yeah, like,
potentially.
do you think that that's in the confessions? 'Cause I thought
It is said that
he said,
within the confessions, he does give a motive, and he
yeah,
says what he and Walla testified to the fact that when he had her listen into a phone call with Kathy, it was so that she could know what he did and why he did it.
do any of
Of
you
course,
guys,
did not elaborate on any of the details, but that was the testimony in court. I myself am not saying that it's factual. That's just what was testified to.
do any of you guys think that the burden he was carrying, if in fact Richard Allen, if you guys believe it's Richard Allen, do you by chance think that he wanted to unload that burden and in himself? Because usually a lot of people confess, like, fuck, if I die, I better freaking confess all my freaking sins so I can go up to the pearly gates and shit. Do you think he unloaded this burden off of him by confessing, by like, it's kind of like, finally, like, got fucking caught finally,
I
you
have
know.
something interesting on that too. This is the part that I found super interesting. So this is from, I couldn't find in the whole article because it would make me pay for it, but this is from an abstract from an article from 2012 titled Homicidal Behavior Among People with Avoidant, Dependent, and Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorders, which all this fall under cluster C. So that's why they're together. So this is just from the abstract, but it says that, let's see, I'll just read the results. It says in a nationwide sample of 593 homicide offenders, 21 had at least one cluster C personality disorder. These offenders had significantly shorter criminal histories than others. Offender-victim relationships didn't differ between the groups, but confession to the crime and feelings of remorse were more common among people with cluster C disorders compared to other personality disorders. And then it also says they were tend to be comorbid with depression more often, which he has. So from this one particular study, it says that people with that type of personality disorder tend to confess to crimes more and have feelings of remorse more, and also have shorter histories or criminal histories. Because I know another question's always been, surely he didn't just start killing people at
Right, yeah,
mid 40s.
right, 44, right.
So I'm not saying all these mean something for sure. It was just interesting to see all of the overlap.
Yeah. Just if you don't mind, Ivy, only because Deb had said it before. Now she's getting bossy at him. Listen, can we hear from Alexa as to what she's thinking? You know what? My bad, because I thought that you had answered that.
No, but we did say it. I mean, I truly believe that he, like we said before, like he had come in probably with a mental illness background, being in solitaire, probably enhanced to the point that he started having those psychosis. I mean, you have to understand this man. I'm assuming probably the first year of his life, he probably was looking over his shoulder, thinking, maybe one day they're going to come for me. 2 years passed, 3 years passed, 4 years passed, 5 years passed. So I guess by the fifth year, he was already living a normal life, and he was probably thinking, they're never going to come for me. And I guess the day they came for him, I mean, his world went upside down. It went from being, having a normal life to now being, hey, they discovered what I have done. So you can imagine. I mean, I honestly never thought that he was suicidal. That's my perception of him. Obviously, everything is my perception, how I see it. I never thought, and it was interesting in one of the documents that they said that he's too much of a coward, basically, to like kind of like to
That's,
off
yeah,
himself.
Right.
that was
Yeah.
his
So,
statement.
and that's basically what I always thought of him. And I said, no, I don't think he has that, type of personality. He doesn't look like that. So obviously now he's alone. He, also a lot of it has to do. Can you imagine, for all this time, I guess the wife had him in a pedestal, and now there he is, he's being accused of this heinous crime. And it's also, I think a lot of it for him to say, I didn't do it, it has to be a little bit to save face and to save kind of his family from that shame. Because now forever, wherever that family goes is going to have that shame of whatever, what he had done.
Which is,
So
he
I think,
actually referenced that because when he said, when the same statement where you said that about how he said he was too much of a coward to take his own life, he had started that out by saying, I've already killed my family. I've already
yeah,
destroyed my friend. Basically,
uh-huh,
so he was saying,
hmm
I've already ruined everyone I care about's life, and I want to, die, but I'm too much of a coward to do anything about it.
hmm
That's
and I
paraphrasing. Just for
and
you.
I think that's what caused him, to go in that psychosis, that that pressure of, now is here I am, I did that. And also you can imagine and a lot of them have always said the worst thing is when you're in your, I mean, people that doesn't matter whether you feel guilty or not guilty. The Some people call it conscience, some people call it memories, whatever you want to call it. But imagine being in a room by yourself and playing over and over what you have done. And now it's not okay. I'm playing it, like a trophy, to satisfy myself. Now it's like, holy cow, I'm here. I got caught and playing these things over and over and over.
Oh yeah, for
So I
sure.
think that has to be a lot of tremendous. I mean, I can imagine
And
he's going to start having delusions, paranoia,
what do you
schizophrenia.
what do you think as well? Like if they when remorse is discussed, they specifically mention one of the victims and not
Yeah,
both.
well, if you remember, I had always said that, and I remember that I somebody had asked me and said, "But how can you say that? How can you say that a K can feel remorse?" And I said, "Just look at the way they were left." And I said, he either undressed her or didn't undress, but she was found dressed. Abby was found dressed in
And
that
she
position.
and she passed away while dressed.
Yes. And look at Abby. Look at Libby. Libby was complete. She was left to be humiliated.
Yeah.
And in his head, that was it has to be a reason why he left it like that. Because when they commit a crime, usually the way they leave their victims is the message that you want to send. And they leave them in whatever position. And that's why staging and posing is so important, especially posing. Staging is a little bit different, but posing is so important for them because it's what they're going to show basically the police, the world, what they have done. So she's left nude. The most, here's this little teenage girl that is left nude. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. He didn't even cover her. So just there, the minute you see, when you see victimology, those are the clues that you see. As soon as I saw that, I said, wait a second. That means that, Abby was a technical kill. That was just, he did that. She was there at the wrong time. Probably she had to go because she was just there.
Can I ask
But
you what was?
she was not part of that fantasy that he had. It was
Can I ask you though?
Sure.
Could you make an argument for the exact same thing you basically said, but reverse it, and put the emphasis that he put on preserving, or whoever um, the killer is preserved on in
Abby?
presenting Abby in a way, in a way that he might have envisioned.
I know what you mean. You're basically
And
saying
kind
that
of
it wasn't
discarded.
her, like he didn't care about
and
Libby,
and he
but
left
it was
her out.
Abby the main
care.
point.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
But wouldn't
Not
that go against
really.
his comment?
Because, I mean, obviously, it would depend on the crime, like in the way you think about the crime. To me, since day one, I always said, I myself, I always believed that this was a sexual fantasy, that
Correct.
he probably had it in his head. I think he had, you have to understand that. And I think I was talking to Ivy about this. SKs are made since they're little. It's almost like they're groomed. Either they're groomed by the society, by the family, by whatever. But they grow little by little, and as they grow, they start doing more things. Like they start hurting animals, maybe like fighting with their siblings. Then they start hurting animals. Then they escalate and start hurting their friends, and then until they get to whatever they want to do.
Garrett Kurtz.
And that's how they go. They go like that. So there's this person that seems normal, but it has this desire that nobody has, probably because it's some mental disorder that he has, but he doesn't know that. And instead of going and getting help, he just kept it quiet, and he, I guess, suppressed it. And he suppressed it to a point that he was able to live a normal life, marry, have kid, a job, and everything. But then something had to trigger him, and that's why I find, so for me, I want to know that trigger. What was that trigger that made him go from that have that suppression to go out and do it?
Do you think
And
his wife, like if his wife's brother died and she was upset, so wasn't there? Do you think that
no,
happened quite a bit before that?
yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it, and I said, well, yeah, I mean, how could that affect? That could have affected him by, the wife is mourning, so now she's not paying as much attention to him as she was before, and that could be. But no, I honestly don't think it's that. Could have been maybe the daughter leaving, maybe. I
Right.
always thought that something there doesn't add up.
And well, and what
Something
and
with the daughter. I mean, I can't accuse her, saying
And why that day?
and what prompted the need to interview the daughter's friends?
Yeah.
What shared experience did they have?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Hold on.
It was referenced in court about
Oh, I did not know that. Tell
about
me.
investigators. They did not elaborate on it at all, but it was right after Jerry Holman made the statement the first time about the box cutter. They asked if because of any of the confessions they went and re-interviewed anyone or did anything. That's when he brought up that they went to CBS, and that and as far as re-interviewing anyone, he said maybe the daughter's friends, but that literally was the only thing that was said about it.
Okay.
And then he said they of course had interviewed Kathy and that his family had been interviewed, but I thought it was an interesting tidbit when, like, unprompted, he mentioned
Right.
the friends of Rich Allen's daughter.
Yeah.
Because what I just like, is it something as simple as they might have seen him that day, or just and so they can say he seemed normal, or is it because they had some experience
With him.
Like something happened that day.
Something weird about him.
or just something from the past? I don't
That's very interesting.
and
That's the first time
it
I'm hearing.
wasn't brought up again in court, but there were a couple of things like that where if you were really listening, you would really notice, like,
Yeah,
even the codependent thing, that was brought up for the first time, like I said, kind of in passing, really, when they were just talking about his general history with anxiety, and how kind of tied to his relationship with his wife, the anxiety could be sometimes.
Another thing I found that I wanted to ask Alexza about is this wasn't from an article about the DPD. It was an article about anxious attachment styles.
Mhm.
That murder. I don't know if I can say that. People who, okay,
Mhm.
the way that they dispose of the body with different styles. The anxious ones, whether they took them somewhere else or disposed of them at the place that they were killed, they tended to cover their victims, which I assume would be because of guilt or remorse. Like they couldn't stand looking at them. And I don't really agree that the sticks were there to like keep searchers from being able to see them or whatever. But I do think that the sticks being over their throats, over the injuries, that there was something to that. But then also, like you were talking about with Abby, we don't know what connection he has to Abby, but could that be part of why he clothed her? Is I don't even know like what connection to even use it as a
I mean,
theory.
it could
They
be.
were
I mean, you
saying,
can look at it like Adam said. It can look at from that we're looking at wrong. That we're saying, you know, uh, he didn't care about Libby and just left her like that, but he cares so much about Abby that he went through all the thing to either to dress her or to leave her dressed. But
they called it an undoing.
it all depends, like, what do you think? And I mean, to me, I
Well,
honestly think that this is a sexually motivated crime. And I mean, if like, why? See, the thing is, if you don't care about something, like, why undress her? Why go through all that trouble
Right.
and undress her?
but
There's
wouldn't
no
that
shame after that.
But it's that and we know for a fact that he took longer with Libby,
Libby.
because that was the target. To me, that is the target. So you are going to spend more time in your target.
It wasn't that the comment? That's the point. Was that he mentioned Libby but not Abby? Like that it was like Aspen. What did he say? Remember about Libby? Like when he didn't say anything about Abby.
No, he said he apparently showed remorse for Abby and did not say anything about Libby.
Right. Okay, that was it. Right. Yeah.
I always believe
and
the way he left her, it's almost like when you see both how they were both left, you
Yeah.
can definitely see that one was with the intent to shame her, to humiliate her. And why? So then we start, in criminal, what does that mean in the crime world, and that's when you start saying, wait a second, that is probably your victim.
That
was the target.
I want to go to two things if I can quickly, and then I'm going to go to the bathroom because I got to go.
I'll be right back.
Okay, because Laura said exactly what I was thinking as well. Like, so to me, I don't know that this was necessarily planned on Libby, in a sense, or if it was just that he had been, let's just say, right, if Richard Allen did do it, that, well, I believe he did, but okay, but if it was, if he was, my God, what was the question again? Looked at him close. Oh yeah, like his daughter.
The daughter, yeah, I
That would
believe so,
seem
Laura.
like-
I believe so. I always believe that. I think the daughter played, either in his mind, a bigger role that we think. I think, did he find Libby because she looked? I mean, when he said, "Okay, I'm going to find a victim," obviously,
Right.
and this just goes by human nature, by our primitive brain. That's how we work. Is we're always going to find people that look similar because those are the people that we love, right? And that's like when you meet a friend and then they said you start kind of looking like the same kind of thing. So I think, did he find her because the primitive brain saw her and say, "Ooh, that looks like my daughter," and that's going to be, was it that, or did he specifically went out of his way to find somebody that looked like him?
Well, I was going to say because the time frame from when he arrived, right, just before the girls, wasn't a big time slot there. Like, it
But
was
I mean, did he stalk her? I
right.
mean, we
It was
don't know
right.
that.
Well,
I mean,
exactly.
did he stalk? Had he seen her before? I have a feeling that he had. I think
Well,
he had. This
right.
was not just random that he ran into her. I think that's what I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but
And
I want to hear those That's why I want to hear those confessions.
I know fashion.
yeah.
Just quickly, and I personally believe that the sticks, I think Bossy said, I personally believe that the sticks meant fuck all, besides to make it, I believe that Ivy said that those sticks across the neck was basically kind of like putting it over their wounds. But I believe that the sticks myself were to make it look like it was some sort of ritualistic thing when really he fucking hadn't.
It could be that he staged it. I honestly think those sticks
I'll be right
have
back.
have something that only means to him. I
That's what I
think those sticks. I mean, at first when I saw, I mean, at the beginning when people said that they cover, I said, well, he's trying to cover them. But when I saw them, I said, no, that's not covered. Then I was thinking, was he trying to maybe pose the body a certain way? And because if you see both sticks for both girls are almost similarly,
they're like a
even
cream almost.
yeah,
Well,
so I was thinking, is that the way he wanted to post them? And that's,
Mhm.
until rigor mortis kicked in, and that was, why he put them there. But then I was like, I don't know.
I mean,
But
just
I
from
think those, hold on one second, it's before, and I'm so sorry. But I do believe that those sticks have a meaning to him. They were important to him. I don't think he was trying to cover them and then he ran out of time. No, I think those sticks meant something to him.
Mhm.
so one of the most interesting things I thought was because we still there are still a lot of things we don't know, of course.
Mhm.
But the fact that we know that sorry, where was I going with that? The fact that we know that it was testified to by expert, which they can be wrong sometimes, but that he could positively ascertain that Abby had at some point during the crime been at least partially nude, but that she was dressed at the time of her death. And then the fact that she wasn't moved, but she was repositioned. So clearly to make she was posed. She didn't. She died in the spot that she was laying in, but he posed her to look the way that she did. And with Libby, whoever if Richard Allen's the killer, then him or whoever the killer is. I mean, there were indications in the from the blood spatter expert that said, and I don't want to go too graphic or anything, but that not only had she been like dragged, but she had been like dragged 7 or 8 feet like multiple times through the different around the crime scene. So to me, that shows like there was effort put into leaving her looking like she'd been discarded, because it's not like he just pulled her over and moved her 2 feet. He like moved her into different places.
And it sounds like he didn't move her body once he like put her down, which is odd. If for posing, it's like he moved her like
Yep.
distance wise, but then just put her down and didn't do anything else. Which
Well,
is
that's
odd.
maybe that's the intent of the
Yeah,
maybe
like what you said makes sense.
but there clearly was effort put into leaving her that way. And then on top of that, I mean, when the defense had an expert on the stand one day, this was going into the ritualistic thing. They Nick McClellan had asked her, what if because she said there was no sexual motivation from in the crime, and he said, well,
You don't know that.
can a crime still be sexually motivated, even if the victims die or if he kills them before the sexual thing can take place? And she said, well, yeah, then it can be sexually motivated. And then when she said that the sticks were absolutely left to be, like ritualistic or whatever. And he said, well, what if I said the defendant in this case has said that he that those sticks were there to cover the bodies, and then she said, well, they didn't cover the body, and he said that doesn't mean that's not what the purpose was, though. So, take that for what you will, but I thought it was interesting because I'm like, does that mean that at some point Rashawn said that's why he threw the sticks on them? And then is it true or not?
Where did that come from?
And that's one of the things that that everybody thinks that in order to be a essay crime, the act has to occur, and that doesn't mean that nothing occurred after. I'm not saying with the girls, and I always never like to talk about that out of respect for the families, but it is what it is. that doesn't mean nothing physically has to happen to the girls, but we don't know what he did after the girls were unalive. So that's
Control in general can be sexual.
yeah. So under that umbrella, many things can happen, and it can still be a SA type of crime. So.
And there are 2 items of clothing, that were missing from the crime scene.
Well, that's what I was just gonna.
There's
get out of
something
my
very
brain.
specific
That
about
is very sexual, if we say.
and White taking those 2 items. So
Right, which were undergarments.
Yeah, was it a fetish that he had? Was it a trophy or was it a fetish? Or could have been both?
I have another question about the mix of the crime scene and him for you. Hopefully Aspen can help me with the exact time, but so they found that the Apple health app on Libby's phone, the one that counts steps, it said that the phone stopped moving at 2. What was it?
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I don't know. Do you remember the time?
That was the Apple health data.
Yeah.
Was it 3:21? No, that's
No, it was much earlier than that.
No, it's 2.
It's 2:40 something.
Yeah.
Whatever the time was, it left a big gap of time between the time that there was no more movement of the phone, which was under Abby's body, and the time that he would have left there. What do you think he did? Obviously there was a sticks.
2:32.
2:32? That's even earlier. So 2:32, he was seen, according to the prosecution, he was seen on the road at 3:57. That's more than an hour. That's almost an hour and a half. What was he doing, do you think, after the sticks were placed?
And that's always been a question I've had when people have argued that there was not enough time.
There's more than enough time.
By
I
himself.
believe that there was enough time.
There was ample amounts of time for him to have done this with one person.
Yeah, that's a silly argument.
Yeah. I mean, well, first, obviously, he undressed her. Or we don't know if he undressed her before or after, but,
But it would, if the phone is under her and not moving, that means her body was already there.
That was already there, you're right. And that was at what, 2:32?
Yeah.
It stopped moving?
Well, maybe not, because then the video starts at 2:13. So how many?
Right.
20 minutes.
Right.
A little less than 20.
It doesn't have GPS on it either, so anything that came from the Apple Health data, literally can just it was able to track that she walked 30 some steps.
Yeah. It was jostling, basically.
But I mean, you could technically make an argument that could have been steps made down to the private drive, because it also would have commuted that's where, if let's hypothetically, she went to the private drive and got it and was taken into a vehicle, that would also work for that.
And that wouldn't, for example, being dragged, that wouldn't count as steps.
Yeah.
I think someone asked before if Libby was unconscious before.
I don't. Like I said, any testimony that was done over the hearings had to be related to the specific thing they were talking about, really. And so, I'm the blood splatter expert. Wouldn't be qualified to probably know that. He could probably tell you whether, what position she was when she passed away. But
I mean,
not whether she was conscious or not.
At the end of the day, if they found items of anything from the crime scene at his home, he's fucking toast, along with his confessions.
I'm just surprised that box cutter wasn't still in that dumpster 6 years later. I'm kidding.
Right? What? You meowing? You don't like Aspen's voice? What?
No, you missed me.
Let's see here. Well, I was told Libby was moved behind the trees away from the creek. What? Away from the creek? Her head, I think, was facing, I always get my northeast. So wasn't her head facing towards the creek?
I mean, I think technically, I think, depending on which way you're looking at the tree, I guess you could say it was away from the creek. But if you're standing on the other side of the tree, you know, I mean, it just depends where you're looking at it from.
Yeah.
Ivy, all they ever said was that they could confirm she had been partially nude.
But you said that there was like testimony that she was wearing Libby's bra, right?
Yeah,
I wish we had that on.
that she had both of their bras on.
Like that, like what the fuck's up with that? Like seriously.
And if she
But
had
was
like
it confirmed that it was Libby's bra?
It was said in court, you know, like said. I mean, like you can never confirm anything, but it's like that. The testimony that was spoken in court was that she was wearing
Oh.
items of both victims' clothing. Abby was wearing, you know.
But I mean,
Yeah, he said they both had that she had both bras on. Yes.
but that could be as much as one was wearing like a sports bra and the other one was wearing a bralette kind of thing, and he doesn't know, and he just.
But then Abby had them both on.
But,
Yeah.
but could Abby have put it on like at Libby's home? Like that Louise just said, the blood expert said that it was because of the lack of blood on the shirt, she wasn't redressed.
that's why there's like things that might make sense to me.
So was it something that Abby had on Libby's? That would be weird still too, because I ain't gonna go to somebody's fucking house and put on their bra.
Well, I mean, girls share stuff.
I think that, you know, that particular subject is something we're gonna have to wait for trial for. Then,
yeah,
we're gonna argue regardless, because I mean, I think, you know, there's still an argument to be made that, you know, that the whole both girls having jeans on thing, I think was a mistake. I think Libby really did have gray sweatpants on, and I think that Abby was found wearing her own jeans.
I actually do too, honestly, with Abby's jeans.
But did they find the pants or no? Did they find?
I think pants? I personally believe that they were the whitest item
in the water.
In the water, right?
Yeah.
Because
the one that looks like a pad.
I feel like I can see jeans in the water.
I think those are gray sweatpants.
There's no jeans.
I think they say the word pink on them.
Yeah.
Black lettering.
I'll disagree because I think there's no jeans in the water.
Yeah.
I thought it was like sweatpants.
Under the leaves.
Yeah.
Like you know how jeans have that that seam on your like hip kind of?
Yeah.
I feel like I can see that under the leaf debris on one of the garments, but maybe not. But the other thing is, to me, what Abby has on doesn't match the jeans she had on. But maybe I'm wrong.
And you know what? I mean, it just could be an illusion to our eyes with them being wet and they looking more, you know. I feel like those are Abby's myself. Like,
and it's all just speculation on our part, right? We get to, you know, hopefully have those answers in less than 2 months.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know, I can hardly wait till this gets to court and then we can truly hear, you know, whatever is allowed and not suppressed, whatever, and truly hear, you know, this evidence, you know, like to put maybe some finally answers to all these questions, because like you said, the hearings were about certain things and not about others. And, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, it just becomes about the truth coming out. And if the evidence is showing that Richard Allen is 100%, you know, like I said, the jury finds him guilty. Like I said, in my jury, he's guilty. Personally, I think that there's just too much myself, but I'll be looking forward to just knowing. This is why I would love to watch it, because I would love to see, you know, the prosecution, what they got to show, like, you know, in court, or on freaking TV. And then versus, you know, what the defense, you know, puts out there. But
I'll be right back.
Okay. But the expert said she was partially undressed at one point, but when she was not. Yeah. You know, like that's one of those things I probably like a dog spinning its tail. Until we hear probably that stuff in court, I guess we'll understand, because it is kind of confusing. Hi, chaotic.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean, like I said, they you know, they really couldn't say whether she was dressed when she was first stabbed, just that she was dressed when she passed away.
Yeah.
I try to be as technical as possible when it comes to the words they say in court.
Can Aspen talk about, because I had forgotten about this, SB 74, a little bit up, said, weren't there some clothing items next to Abby? And I forgot. I had heard that, and I don't know what those would be, but I heard that was part of the testimony in the hearing.
Can you say that to me one more time? I'm
What
sorry.
was next to Abby?
Yeah, clothing items next to Abby.
I believe what they're referring to. I'd have to look at my notes, but unless there's a reference I'm not remembering properly, there was a mention during the blood splatter expert where they were discussing which victim's blood was where, and one of the examples they used to describe where Abby's blood was found was that it was mainly very concentrated because of the saturation, but that there was a pool deciding in the clothing on the side of her. So I can see where you could think that.
Okay, yeah, that's where it was. That's where I remember it being in the testimony, like in the notes. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
And maybe I interpreted it that way, and maybe the person you heard that from is correct.
Right.
He's an expert.
Sorry, Ivy. What was that?
I would say it seems like there would have to be like, it seems like all the clothing is accounted for. So then that was my question is, well, what is it then if it's next to her? But so your explanation makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And Charmaine, Becky had said that to me. She probably said it to Frank as well. Right. So Becky said that at first that she believed that she was in gray sweatpants, but then she said it wasn't that long ago, which was months ago when she said that to me, that it wasn't that long ago that she was told that she was wearing jeans. Now, maybe, but who knows, right? I mean, I think with certain things too, like, I think like with Becky's, it's not even a matter of, I think it's just a matter of she hears certain things herself.
Right. She may have heard that from the defense file, and we all heard
and maybe it's, maybe it turns out that it was really sweatpants still at the end of the day.
That is an extremely common response to trauma, and I don't know why people don't understand that. Like, it is well documented. It is super common, and to act like it's not is just being intellectually like dishonest.
What are you talking about?
Kind of like witness statements differing.
Yeah, for people who have gone through trauma to misremember things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Trevor. Good to see you.
And without people going to trauma, because don't forget, our brain wasn't designed for remembering things.
Yeah.
So even without, I mean, trauma enhances it more. But you don't remember things that are, she didn't need to remember that little detail.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in retrospective, she's like, oh my God, what did she have? But yeah.
I'm sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say this is where I always felt bad for Kelsey and the family is because when you're in a traumatic situation, like for me, for instance, right, the other day I was like panicking, right, I was like husband, and my brain goes into a fog, and I can only imagine the panic, because that Becky is one of those, just an amazing grandmother. She's well, first of all, she's a Cancer. Okay, first of all, foremost. So that right there. But anyways, and that as time goes on, it's like any of us. It's kind of like, when somebody confronts you and something like that, and then after you're like, oh shit, I should have said this or I should have said that. Well, same thing. Like if you're in a traumatic moment, like, are you going to remember every freaking detail? Sometimes it comes back to you after and stuff like that. And I always really felt bad for the family for being attacked because they said a sweater, or they didn't say a sweater, or they said this, or, and it's kind of like sad when you watch some of the channels that just kind of pick out every fucking thing to try to diss the family or make it seem like the family was involved in this case. And honestly, for all those people that did diss the family in this case, you know what? Shame on you guys. Seriously. Like, like there's a difference when that somebody's involved and stuff like that. But honestly, I honestly feel really bad. Like this case is dragged out forever. The family has been put through freaking hell and high water, being attacked, da 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 da. And it's just this one hurts my heart about this one because it was such undeserved attacking towards them, and anyone with a freaking brain cell could tell that the family members really seriously, you got Becky over here adopting, Cody and like I said, having the girls live with them. Yeah, spiteful grandma and stuff like that. But anyways, I've always felt
It was
Can I clarify something before I forget? I
yeah.
went back to the email. I'm sorry, I misread the thing. She said the results show that higher percent of men had personality disorder at the time of committing crime. That doesn't mean that it's higher in men than women. I took it as that.
wow.
I apologize. It's just when committing crime.
In any personality disorder or
And
specifically?
she said specifically personality disorder at the time of committing crime. I took it. I misread it, and and then I answered her back, and then she actually corrected me. She's
That
like,
makes
no,
sense.
I have a,
personality disorder at the time of committing crime, not higher in men. It's higher in women.
I
Sorry.
have a question for you. In your like in your professional opinion, like I thought one of the most interesting and definitely like for me because I was like the psychology of of situations. When I heard the statement made about Richard Allen using skipping meals as a way to control the circumstances he was in,
Hmm.
like how indicative or what does that tell you about the potential of someone's personality? Is there anything there that, or am I just connecting the dots because I already had the idea that I think control played a part in this.
I think he was trying to
I
control himself. But
I thought about that, and it's definitely not something you can make an evaluation on by itself, but it's definitely interesting. To me, like almost what's more interesting is the fact that he was able to
Control the 4 meals, never 4 in a row.
the fact that he was able to see that in himself, because a lot of people are not introspective like that, and then able to verbalize that already is not necessarily common.
Well, see, and I think one of the reasons I picked up on it is because I know that for myself, like, because I have some control issues. If you were to ever talk to any of my exes, but I I know that when I'm in like a place that I feel like I don't have a lot of control over certain circumstances, I will kind of like cling on to the things that I can control even more, a little bit more. So I know I get more cognitive of or cognizant of what's within my ability to control
Yeah.
at most given moments.
I mean, that's what I don't know if I might have misunderstood your question, but that's a common thing. I mean, that's what like eating disorders people usually
Right.
kind of describe like what goes on with them. So I thought, what was your restate your question?
Well, so I just I was like, if someone is using something as mundane as like not only are they like skipping meals, but they're also doing it manipulating the system at the same time because they know they're cognitive enough to know the that if they skip 4 meals in a row that they start tracking them.
right.
So
Manipulation.
so that when asked why you're skipping meals and the response is so that I can control my situation or my circumstances. So I can control my circumstances. That was the quote.
I think that could go because it kind of sounds like what you're talking about is like the underlying, like, is he manipulating the system just to manipulate it?
Or is that just so ingrained in his birth that there's control such an important thing to him that when he's in the lowest point in his life where he has zero control, something just like controlling when he's going to eat.
I feel like it's more that one.
You think so? You don't think it's manipulation?
But can't that be indicative of like him having a larger control issue?
Yeah, and if you think about like the murder, it was very like control based.
That's.
But I
just think that's why it was interesting to me.
But I also think that with everything, there's like a balance of basically pros and cons. So his need to control the food is outweighed by the potential that they will track it and force him to eat with a tube. That outweighs that enough to give in as much as he needs to. But I do think it's indicative of at least some control issues.
But if he skipped more than 4 meals, then he would no longer be able to control it, because that's when they start to address it and start to track you. And then if you continue to try to control that, then they force feed you, or put a tube in. So the not skipping them so much that it gets tracked to me is almost even more of a way to exert control, because he's understood the parameters within which he can operate.
And to me, that I'm glad you said all this, because to me that also points to an organized type person.
Exactly.
Like, an organized killer, of somebody who outweighs the things, because most people would not, like I said, maybe they would try to not eat because that's what they had control in, but a lot of people wouldn't be able to identify that in themselves and evaluate the whole situation and figure out like how it works.
Well, and like Louise said, this is all happening during a time that he apparently is suffering from psychosis. So he's going through psychosis to the point where he doesn't know when Easter is.
Does that overlap?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
That's why I wish there
was. That was in April of 2023 that he made the statement to Wallace to why he was skipping meals. And this was at the point that he was apparently in a full psychosis.
When does the psychosis supposedly start? Do you remember that?
Wallace talks about the fact that it was after April 3rd or 4th, because that is the day that he had received some of the legal documents and had 2 recent meetings with his attorneys. And that by April 4th, he was starting to. Oh, and I can't remember his speech was different. His presentation was different, and that by April 13th, I think it was, like he was showing signs of a grave condition. So like kind of the height of it was June 8th, they said. But it basically started at the beginning of April.
And then the control thing was when?
The control statement was made some point between April or May. I can't remember. I have the exact date somewhere here.
That's definitely interesting. I would be interested in.
But it was during that period.
I would be interested in exactly like what the differences in his speech and all that were, because there's, unless he's studied up on it and has the knowledge, there's, what am I trying to say? The way that stuff presents is different from how they actually present. So a lot of times for stuff like that, it can be easy to pick out when somebody is faking it because they're not showing the correct symptoms. They're showing the stereotyped systems that like the media portrays.
And Walla, I think it was 6 times during her testimony, or several times, I'll say, she brought up the fact that, she and others questioned the authenticity of some of the behavior.
Yeah. And another thing I mentioned about the timeline.
But as far as she said his baseline was depressive. Like that was his baseline. So it was in March that he first made a statement to her about like not feeling right in the head. And then April 4th is when she makes her first notes that he's suffering
I
ideology,
wonder what the delusions were.
delusions, insomnia, worthlessness, hopelessness, self-esteem issues, and like I said, and that all kind of progressed throughout.
Ooh.
It culminated in June, I believe.
And the worthlessness, self-esteem issues, and the other one you said, those are all symptoms of DPD. So I wonder if she was the one who, because another thought I had to like make all this even more complicated is sometimes you can, I'm not trying to think how I want to say this.
Owen. 1 sec.
Bear super chat. $2. You're awesome. Thank you. Parties up in the detention facility after 2:14.
Okay. And thank you, Barefoot, for the super chat there. Okay, so that's when it was in 2014.
It was 2019 that he went to the hospital.
Okay, so two-ish years maybe after the murders.
Yeah, and he spent more than 1 week.
Oh, and by the way, just quickly, I didn't know that Turbo had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, she does. I didn't know that either until
I
recently.
didn't know that either, to be honest, until like now.
And it's actually a good channel. I've seen her.
She has great.
Oh, she just got over 1K subscribers.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah.
So, and again, like, and I'm not claiming any of this. I'm just like this was the testimony
No, those are great points
that she gave, and like I said, it's very detailed. Like it goes way on from that. But
one more thing about that, real quick. Hold on, I saw a comment. Where is it?
like I had over 50 pages of notes just from Wallace's testimony alone.
I wish I could have all of them. Oh, SP74. Didn't the behavior start right after a visit from the defense? That's what people were talking about, but it kind of sounded like he, even if the behavior wasn't obvious, he told Wallace that he was feeling weird prior to that. Is that accurate?
In March, he made a statement. March 2023, he said, "I'm not feeling right in the head," and that April 4th is when he started exhibiting the full list of behavior that I told you about just now. And he had just had 2 recent visits with his attorneys and had received a large portion of legal documents from them. That's also April 3rd was the day that picture was taken of him wearing the jumpsuit with the stain on it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and
one more thing about timing and perspective.
One more thing about the control and the psychosis, real quick, and then I'll let somebody else talk. Psychosis is hard to. It can be hard to explain in words, at least for me. I feel like I've seen a lot of people say things that sound like what?
1 sec. Aspen, just mute your mic for a sec while Ivy's talking because all I hear is the locust or something. Shh. There, thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah. I mean, it was just because all I hear is the psh coming from Aspen because of he's outside in the locusts or whatever. But anyway, so that's why I just wanted to, while you were talking.
It seems like some people think that psychosis means that you were you can't think right at all. And there is a break from reality, but it's not like you're in a vegetative state or anything. It's hard to explain if you've never interacted with somebody who is in a psychotic episode. You can sometimes have conversations with them that seem normal, but as you get into it more, there's obvious things that show that they're not living in the same reality that you are. But it's not completely as, I don't know, I wish I knew a better way to explain this. It's not as completely obvious just from looking, one sentence wouldn't be able to tell you it from somebody, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that was just a bunch of gibberish or if it made any sense.
No, it absolutely did.
Do you want to expand on that, Aspen?
Well, no. I was validating that because it does make perfect sense.
You were validating it.
Yeah. I mean, well, Well, she said she
Psychic.
said, did I sound like I, whatever?
You guys
Oh,
know
yeah.
I'm not great at explaining things sometimes.
But can I ask you a question?
I
I
have a-
always thought that psychosis was like almost like a disconnection of reality. Like you're not able
Yeah.
to think in the now, and you're not present in the now. You have that disconnection.
It is, but sometimes it doesn't always sound, it's not like it's all gibberish.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So like if you've experienced things like for example, somebody who has psychosis, they could talk to you about their non-existent life in Hollywood, and if you didn't know they didn't live in Hollywood, it might not sound so crazy.
Like Chris Todd. I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot about that name. I forgot about a lot of names, to be honest with you, like that.
So on the surface, it can sound sometimes not as psychotic as one would expect it to be.
Okay, gotcha.
So, what do you guys think we're going to hear in this hearing next week?
Well, I don't see. I only really realized that there was a hearing when I was reading that document on the 23rd. What's that hearing about? What's that one about? Is that about the
pre-trial? It's the pre-trial hearing. And there was mention in court
well,
about some matters being they approached the bench, and after they walked away, they said maybe that's something we can address next week or the week after. So I wasn't surprised to hear about a hearing thing. I think that it'll be interesting to see what is causing them to have the closed door, or not closed door, but closed to the public portion in the morning.
Do you guys think they're going to be ready to go for October, or do you guys think that?
I hope so.
I felt like everyone I felt like all the attorneys seemed prepared. Granted, that could change if the third party defense is not allowed in. I'm sure they have a backup plan if it isn't. But
Yeah, KK and Ron.
I had some concerns about the. I don't know whether Vachon is guilty or not, but if he's confessed 61 times direct confessions, I just hope no one talked him out of not changing his plea or didn't listen to him or abide by his wishes. That's the only thing that makes me nervous. I mean, I've said that since I got back from the hearings.
Yeah, my thing with Richard Allen is this: is that for me personally, I've always felt that once he was kind of busted in a sense, that he started like I said, it was almost like the fucking weight of the world off his shoulders a bit, because he'd been harboring, this secret is he's fucking living in Delphi around everybody. But I always felt that his antics were antics. Or no, I shouldn't say that. I always felt like because anyone put into a solitary confinement or a jail cell, once they realize that their fucking life is done with pretty much, and that they know that they're probably going to spend the rest of their life behind bars and all that shit, meaning all you have to do is think. And if you're left alone to think with yourself all the time, like I said, anxiety, all these different things. I think his eating the feces, I think it was just him probably going through these episodes, or whatever you want to call it, that everyone would probably get if they're out in the real world and then end up in jail, and then, or prison in this case. And then
It will make a sane person go insane.
Yeah, you know what? And that's just it. And so I think that's why I said antics more so, like him, I think it's him losing his shit, because he's probably just what you said, a sane person going insane, because the reality of it is he's not walking the free life. You can't fucking smoke, you can't fucking drink, you can't.
In the words of Brad Rosie, he said, "It's enough. It's all enough to make a man go crazy, right?" And
Yeah,
Walla responded, well, it depends on your definition of crazy, but it can definitely be oh, what was the word she used? Oh, I can't remember, but it was an interesting back and forth because Rosie said basically exactly what you just said, Alexa.
Which was
That it's enough to make a man go
yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. Crime Justice says that Sleuthy thinks he's going to cut a plea deal. Anyone in here think a plea deal is going to happen here? I don't think so. I used to, but I don't know.
No.
Plea deal is a strong word. I mean, I'm curious. I would like more so to know who and when and if he's asked and requested to change his plea and it hasn't happened. As far as a deal, there has to be one on the table. And at some point, what advantage does the state have to offer him a plea deal other than saving the county money?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Plead guilty. What do you guys think? Alexa, you shook your head no.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to take a plea deal. No. I mean, wish, but no, I don't think so.
No, I
Don't he create? He was classified as a level D, I think. He was the second from the highest, I believe.
And I think even if he wanted to take one, I don't think the lawyers would allow him. I think they're more pressing going to trial.
Don't they have? I mean, like I know they don't have to follow the rules, but don't they have to according to their like lawyer code?
Depends on how it's presented.
Okay.
Let me ask you something, you guys, quickly. Do you guys think, Kathy? Do you guys honestly believe that Kathy feels like he is innocent?
I think that Kathy and Janice are 100% convinced
That he was just
to believe.
yeah.
They trust in those attorneys.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You could see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
So, I think that they believe that if the attorneys are telling him he's innocent, I think they're listening to every word that Brad and Andy say.
Now, do you think, because I mean, I agree with that. I do think that she is in that stage that she can see that. But now, do you think when she's all alone in her bed, she has those almost like what they call flash of genius, that she might put like 1 and 1 to get, and she might have a little bit of like, I mean, you don't have to. You can still support somebody and say, "Hey,
Right.
I believe," but I don't know. I think that deep down, with the whole world sleeping and she's awake at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
I think she goes and puts that. Her brain is kind of like going, and she's
Only
like,
she could answer that.
Yeah.
yeah, of course. But I'm
Right.
thinking, I think
I mean,
deep down she might think,
let,
because
let-
you know when people. I mean, even when you have kids. I'm sorry, Sonny, I don't mean to interrupt you.
no,
But
no,
like,
no.
it's like when you love you love your children,
Right.
but you know what they're capable of.
Right.
If somebody calls me and say, "Hey, this your child that A did this and he punched," I go like, "Yeah, I believe it." But now if they call me and say, "Hey, twin B punched this person," I'll be like, "Not really. I don't think so," because you know your children, even though people don't like to say it. Or I mean,
Yeah.
husbands are a little different. I think children is more. But I think deep down, I think she might be doubting herself.
You'd have to be the densest doorknob in the world if you didn't at least, think about, like, I can see her looking back at these times and trying to think like, okay, whatever. But I think that in this case, the heart overrides any sense of, blind spot. Like, I think she's blinded, of course, by it all. And I think that it's kind of like when somebody truly believes, because that's their hope in a sense. Like, I mean, she's been married to the guy for how long and whatever. So I definitely think that she's definitely questions it, but I think that at the end of the day, that look, like,
Yeah, that'll be her
Sometimes
choice.
it doesn't matter what somebody does. It like meaning we've seen the stupidest shit happen to people. Someone can freaking, get bamboozled for a ton of money, and you try to tell them you're talking to some fucking dude in Africa, okay? Like this person doesn't give a fuck about you. And you're honestly hitting rocks up here. And I think with her, she's just so much wants to believe and probably does believe.
But also, imagine, let's play devil's advocate too. I mean, she can probably put and say, "Hey, since that day, the 13, he was probably different because I'm sure he had to change because most of them change. After that happens, they go through many emotions. Their periods of depression, their periods of high. So I wonder, in
Yeah.
retrospective now when she looks back, I wonder how that plays.
Yeah.
I think it depends on if there had been like
Thanks, sea cakes.
if there had been different things that have happened that now she can look back on and kind of think of, or if he did act different, if he was good at internalizing and that didn't come out, then I could see you more being able to believe that he was innocent until you saw, irrefutable evidence. But I can't imagine what it would be like to your high school sweetheart you have known
Horrible.
you were a teenager and married for 25 years, and if say nothing weird ever happened, and then somebody comes to the door and arrests him and says he killed these two girls that your town has been talking about forever, I would be like, absolutely not. I mean, maybe you could convince me with evidence, but at first, I'd be like, there's no way my husband would
I
do that.
know.
And you have to, and and all you can really go off because I would never. My heart does go out to Kathy, Ellen, and Janice.
Yeah, she's a victim
I
too.
can imagine,
I agree.
so I'm not going to pretend to think what they're feeling or knowing, but I mean, just going off of what we know from what's been said in court, I mean, she, when he called her and confessed, she didn't believe him, and then it got to the point throughout his confessions to her, allegedly, that at one point she even said, "If you don't stop that, I'm calling Brad." And then there was a period of time where his family cut him off and wouldn't speak to him when he was.
That could be keeping him. Sorry to interrupt you.
So I mean, clearly they, Jana said they just gotten in your head. You didn't do this. They just gotten in your head. It's mind control. So I mean, every indication that at least we were told about in court is that they either 100% believe in his innocence, or they're 100% committed to protesting his his innocence.
That could keep him from oh my gosh, confessing. Sorry.
Well, he eventually,
Oh, unicorn stupid.
Yeah.
Because
and you've got two attorneys that are also, what they think he's innocent, which is wonderful. And I, hope they're doing a great job for their client.
And do you really think that they think he's innocent, or do you think that they're playing? That's what they want to make the world believe.
They want to make the world.
They've stated that they believe he's innocent. So
Yeah, I don't believe them for one.
I don't believe that.
They're not dumbasses, but they do what they do, and they do it well. And I believe that they know that. Like, I don't believe that. Like I said, honestly, like, you got some smart dudes here.
yeah.
I don't think you know what I mean? What are you going to do?
They're very smart. They're very smart.
Yeah, they're very smart. And I think that, but their job is not to sit, their job is to prove his innocence. That's what they do. That's their job.
Exactly.
But I do not think for 1 second that they don't suspect or have, what I mean? But they're there.
That's not here or there. I mean,
yeah. That's my personal thought, because they're, when you don't, when you come across dumbasses, and then not, like people that are just, smart, and that, like I said,
I believe that they care deeply about I think they believe deeply about getting him an innocent verdict, and
yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, that's what they're there to do. Yeah, and they're there to, like, it doesn't matter if they're guilty or innocent. To me, it's about, like, that's what they do. They defend people, and they try to prove that the person didn't do it, even if they feel like he did. I think that this case in Delphi, anyone to really, honestly, even though it's been a fucking shit show, this is one of those things that puts people on the maps, regardless, right? And you know behind it all, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what anyone says. You know, at the end of the day, that probably that Librato guy and that they were wishing that they could hold on to this case, you know.
And it's against their, like, I don't know if they call it an ethical code, but it's against that to not provide a defense, like to not work as hard as you can for your client, whether you believe they're guilty or not.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
To answer,
Even a guilty person deserves an adequate representation. You know, like a fair, adequate representation at a trial. Yeah,
to
and
answer
again, something that should be pointed out too is they don't have to prove anything. All they have to do is, you know, the state is the one with the burden. The state is the one that has to make, you know, create the burden of
They just have to put it out.
process. So all they have to do is provide a defense for their client, and I think they genuinely are doing everything they can to provide that defense for their client.
Yeah, all they have to do is basically create doubt, and as long as one juror starts doubting the story, there goes down the drain. So
Yeah. Don't hate create says who's Harshman again?
Harshman is an officer that is basically solely his job is basically to watch all of the video and read the transcripts, and he's the one that kind of in charge of all of that. So he's like getting the communications from Richard Allen's communications from within prison now in real time. He's caught up to the point where, like when he makes phone calls or text messages, he'll get the updates of what the contents are. And it was also stated in court that according to the state, at least, any new discovery that's being turned over to the defense is only transcripts and calls and messages that are like happening now.
Didn't I boot this guy last week when we did that live? Wasn't he going off with weird shit or something like that? I feel like I did. I'm having red flag button go off in my head right now. Because what is that supposed to mean?
yeah, what are they even talking about?
I feel like this was the warped person from like a week ago. I feel like I booted this person.
Who?
This deluxe person. I feel like I did. I'm gonna boot your ass because you're weird. There. Yeah, I read alert went off as soon as I seen the name. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. We don't need no fucking whack jobs in here. There's enough of those out in the world, thanks. He read all the phone calls and videos from prison. Okay, thanks, Louise. Magical thinking. Oh, Ben, it's not made up. Magical thinking is
It's actually very interesting if you really read into it.
It's extremely common. Like buildings that don't have the 13th
Yes.
floor, that's magical thinking.
The research I've done since, there's some very, very interesting aspects to a lot of that stuff, and like I said, it interested me immediately. I just didn't know enough about it, but I found some pretty interesting things about some of that.
I think Perlmutter is full of shit, but it was driving me crazy that people were acting like magical thinking was made up.
No, I mean she's a highly qualified person. I just
That you're saying that to be nice or sarcastic. I'm not sure which one.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I found. I mean,
Yes, not Perlmutter.
I'm sorry.
Perlmutter.
Yes. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I'm not a legal expert. I'm not, qualified to say anything. So my opinion was.
Those calls. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ivy.
What?
No, that was me. I just said I'd love to listen to those calls.
oh god, yes,
I'll be a harsh woman, not a harsh man. Yeah, I'd like to listen to those.
those would be interesting.
Oh my god! Imagine if they were leaked. Oh,
Another
oh,
thing I would love to, and hopefully for the trial, at least one day, I would like to go and see Richard Allen in the flesh. I just want to see,
yeah.
how does he act? The body language type. It'd be interesting to
Alexa,
study him.
Alexa, you're probably going to be standing near him, going, "Where is he? Where is he?
Like,
Oh, there you are."
where?
Oh.
But you went, right, Adam? Like, how did he look?
Um, well, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to give a fair description, considering I clearly went in having a preconceived
Of
notion
course.
of having
Yeah.
seen it in the past. So I had, I was then comparing
Oh,
him
man.
to what I had seen in pictures, and even in the last hearing on May 7th, when he had the beard and hair, he looked much different than that. Like, I will say that when they brought him in, he's very petite. Um, he's he had his head shaved. His eyes are very pronounced. They were really light colored, which in a lot of pictures I've seen of him, they can look darker or lighter. He to me he looked younger than I thought he would.
Really? Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And he can be a bit aloof, but he's also been in a situation where I don't know if I'm seeing his normal behavior, body movements and behavior, and like just little things like that are hard to tell when you've never seen someone.
Did you
Did not look.
see him right?
I'm sorry.
Did you see him right? Is he right-handed, left-handed?
Oh, I did. He did. He had a pin, and he is right-handed. I watched someone would come. Someone's gonna say, "Nope, I was in there and I saw he was left-handed," but
Yeah.
I think that he was right-handed,
Oh,
or was using his right hand at least. His eyes are very light blue, Louise. They were, at least from my.
I mean, in some of the pictures, they look really.
And other people are in here that were in the court. Like I know, I saw Laura was in here earlier. I saw there's Thomas Frost, Turbo.
you know that now that my memory, because
Mother.
when Laura asked last time, I actually found that video that night, and now I freaking don't know where I put the link. It was on Court TV. Remember about the that Odinist lady that was talking on Court TV or whatever?
Are you talking about Perlmutter?
Huh?
Are you talking about Dr. Perlmutter?
Yeah, the one that was in the courtroom or whatever.
Right.
I ended up finding that night actually from the Court TV one, and heck, if I know what I did with it now, Laura, because that was like freaking a week ago.
I have a quick question for Alexza, because this is not something that we this is, and it's a right turn, so I apologize. Something we'd always heard about was an FBI BAU report, but there was when they were talking about the BAU report in one of the hearings, they mentioned it was done by the U.S. Marshals. I was unaware that the U.S. Marshals had a BAU unit.
Yeah.
So I looked it up and there's a legitimate behavioral analyst unit within the within the U.S. Marshals. So like how common is it that they would create a profile like that?
I mean, it all depends. I mean, like wasn't one of them the one that came in? Wasn't that one of the U.S. Marshals that was involved? Right. So I think,
or do they work hand in hand with?
No, they work hand in hand. I mean, a lot of people don't know. For example, here in New York, the state troopers have a behavioral unit, and when I say that, people are like, "What? The state troopers?" Yes, they do. They have. So the CIA has them too. So behavioral units are more. Most of the policing agencies have their own.
Right. Okay. I was just unaware of that, and but I would like clarification though, as far as like, um, because now I think half the people think it was the FBI BAU,
No.
and now people think it's
But
the.
I think they work hand in hand.
Okay.
But I know that in this particular case, I know it was because the U.S. Marshal was the one.
Okay. Yeah, and
who
I was unaware. I had not heard the U.S. Marshals part of it. I'd always only heard it referred to as the FBI. So it was just something I thought was interesting.
Turbo says I was very surprised that it was the U.S. Marshals that did the
Yeah.
BAU report. Yeah, that's what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Well, the FBI. You guys, I'm starting to have an ice cream fix.
I think the FBI. People always link it, I guess, to the FBI because obviously it started in the FBI and it's like the most popular one. But like the police stations, like the bigger ones, like New York City has their own separate from the FBI.
Okay.
So,
Well, I mean, Ivy is the one that really wanted to come on and talk to Alexza. So before we go, do you have any more questions for Alexza or anything? And I feel like I talk too much anyway, so I'm going to shut up.
No,
it was
yeah.
fascinating to hear you guys. Yeah.
No,
No, I
Especially
think
the psychology behind it.
yeah,
It was a
people
good time.
enjoy listening to you guys. Knowing your thoughts because you guys are all intellectual, except for this dumbass sitting up here. I think her name is Sunny.
No. Yeah, I put all my questions in. I'm sure I'll think of more later, but you know how that is.
Give me 1 second. I'll come back in 1 second. Sorry.
Hi, Miranda. Indeed, almost all the darkness within my observation only. His eyes were very piercing when he would lock his gaze on you. I would love for him to lock his gaze on me. I would just be like right back at you, buddy.
Yeah, I know there's been some back and forth with all of that. So
Yeah.
I'm
definitely one of those ones. If I was the defendant, I'd be like piercing my eyes.
I think it's important to remember none of this is about any of us. So I'm like, did I lock eyes with Richard Allen a few times during the hearings? Of course I did. But this is about Libby and Abby, and this is about Richard Allen and now his rights. So it's not about anyone else.
And it's impossible to know like the intentions behind making eye contact with somebody too.
Well, and an example of that actually, Ivy, is that there were a few exchanges that I witnessed between like you would look back at Kathy and Janice and there's just certain things that unless you know someone or their relationship can be construed different ways. I'm like, a smirk to one person could look like a scowl to another. It's hard to put context to some of those things because there was one time when I think it was the first day where I kind of felt like he was scowling a little bit, and then just as many people though said, "Oh, that's not how I took it at all. I thought that was just like a little exchange between them." So, I don't think anyone except Richard or Kathy would actually know what that those looks meant, but he definitely did give her lots of smiles the second day especially, and even if you like kind of head up like nods.
I hope I'm remembering this correctly. I think I heard Murder Sheet say that because I heard a lot about him shaking his head like yes or no or whatever during certain, and the way they described it made it sound like he was shaking his head a lot, but it wasn't necessarily like an affirmative thing. It was just him shaking his head a lot for some reason. Like it didn't really matter what was asked. It was more about a topic and not necessarily about like yes or no. It was weird.
He was very engaged and more so at different times, but he was very reactive as far as like there were times during some of the testimony where I felt like he was nodding his head yes or no, kind of. In my take on it was that it was in agreement or disagreement with what was being said. But then there were other times when he did kind of do some, like looking around and things that may have been completely unrelated.
Sounded like he was agitated.
And he did the thing, and he did do the. Of course, he did the thing that I guess he's done in a lot of hearings, where he's just does kind of like look around and.
Mm-hmm.
But
Can I ask you a question? I mean, I'm sure you're very perceptive, so I'm sure you probably looked at this. And like Abby was saying, like when they were talking about certain topics, especially maybe like the way he left the girls or anything that was maybe like that. Did you see any reaction from him? Like, what would he do? Like, would he look down? Would he look at somebody? What would he do? Like in those uncomfortable pieces that you guys had to hear.
I didn't notice something that was so direct that it's coming to my memory right now. But I do know, and I did notice that he a lot of the times was very kind of engaged with what was being said, and he would watch the attorney talking. And there were times he didn't. He definitely seemed a little less interested during some of the talk about like the third party suspects and things like that. And then there were sometimes when I think especially when it came to the conditions of Westville and things, there was one time or two that when they referenced some of the things that he was doing that were considered bizarre by people that I saw his head go down at one point, and he just kind of so I'm sure that's a humiliating feeling, but that is again me putting my thoughts on his movement. So I don't know what he's thinking.
With this, I found it fascinating that when they were given details about the crime scene, how Kathy and the mom had left. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, so I heard. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I can't say that that's why they left. I do know that was the very long day, and we had a break at like 7:00 at night, and then they did not return from that break. Andrew Baldwin did come and say something to them prior to that when that break started, and they didn't come back. But I don't know if that was the reason, or
The friend,
dog. Abby's grandparents didn't come back, and there were a few of the other family members didn't come back in because I think they were made aware that uncomfortable things were going to be discussed. So
I think she had a dog that was like dying or something in a
bed.
Yeah,
which is why I'm not going to judge their
And people make it out like they left at like noon, so I'm surprised to hear that it was like at 7 p.m.
It was the end of the day.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, when I heard that it was that long, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was only until like 4 or 5, but I didn't know it went really, really late.
Did you hear Richard Allen's voice when you guys were there? When you were there?
No, he would mouth. He mouthed "I love you" to the families to his family a few times. At least what I took to be "I love you" or "I love you guys."
Okay. Because I thought when Turbo said interesting take, I think he accepted his fate and he was definitely animated, and I did hear him speak after the safekeeping order was vacated. He did,
and Baldwin and him especially, I felt like body language wise had a very comfortable relationship. Baldwin several times kind of would sit with his arm on the back of Rochelle's chair, and they would talk, but of course you couldn't hear what they were saying.
This still blows me away that how the fuck can you forget that you talked to somebody, right? Like the one person that says he was on the bridge. How the F can you fucking forget 5 years later? Oh, like, do you know what I mean? I don't get that at all.
That was probably one of the other biggest questions people have asked me since I got back was, did they mention the Doolin stuff at all?
Thanks, Jonathan.
And no, they didn't, because it didn't pertain to any of the the hearings at hand.
Right.
Perhaps if they had done the other suppression one, maybe that would have come
Yeah.
up. But
It just it blows me away that, that look like, how do you forget? Like, to the concert, I just don't understand it at all. Like, oops, 5 years later. Oh, remember that guy that said he was actually at the bridge today?
That match the way he was dressed, that match everything.
and I did get clarification though that that all the good-looking young deputies that were working at the courthouse, not from Delphi. They were our reserve deputies that only come in when there's the Richard Allen matter in town, because Carroll County apparently only has 2 court deputies, and they just recently actually got them. So a lot of the staff that was doing security for the courthouse those days were brought in from other places, but they all did an excellent job, in my opinion, because those were long days, and I thought all of them did a great job.
Let's see here. Time. He mouthed, "I love you both." Some heard him speak to the police behind him after he was granted that. On there. Yeah. I mean, I personally would have loved to have watched his, like, I would have been staring intently at him the entire time watching, because, like, I'm a very verbal person, like, hands and facials. I can't help it. I can't sit there with no poker face. My poker face isn't a poker face at all. And so I would love to have seen, because, sometimes when you watch trials, you'll see the defendant put down their head, even if they're as guilty as fuck for the killing. There's certain elements that come out in the trials that they'll be like, and you can just see, like, okay, so maybe that part of the story wasn't maybe correct to what, his thing. But I always find that stuff very interesting, because, some people can just sit there with their stone face, ass cold, doesn't matter what they're saying. Hey, your wife's dead, stone cold face. Yeah, no, I didn't do it. Swear to God, straight face. And other people like myself, like, I'm very much of a expression person. So if somebody said something that I knew wasn't right, even if I was guilty of the crime, say, I'd still be sitting there like, nope. Like, my head.
You see a lot of them. You see them that they're there, and sometimes when they're like saying that they did something that they didn't, and they start like shaking heads or like doing what you can tell.
Yeah.
And I was sitting directly behind him, and so I really could only see his face when he would turn to the sides one way or another, because literally, like the witness box, Richard Allen, and then me. So we were like in a direct line of sight. So I tried to have a blank look on my face, so none of the witnesses were distracted by me, me being like like when you hear something, you're like, huh?
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. No deputy daddies. Hey, I don't know why, but you guys, I just want to go get some ice cream.
Yeah.
I've been craving it now for a few days, and I said to my husband today, "Husband, did you get me any ice cream?" He's like, "No, didn't even think about it." "Oh, but you thought about the cookies you got for yourself, didn't you?" No. Let's see. Oh, Figgy's still here. Fig, you're alive still?
And CC Shake says Alan and Janice. Yeah. And and I'm sure that's hard, because I'm sure you naturally want to react to certain things, of course, and that, this is not an easy situation, of course, for that family either. They aren't experiencing what Libby and Abby's family went through, but their pain is important as well.
Figgy says, Aspen, since the defense was trying to blame BG based on his Facebook post, what does that tell us about Kathy deleting her 2017 Facebook post?
I would have had to have seen said Facebook post.
I know. Sometimes I'm really bad for that shit, and I want to kick myself.
I've looked at enough Indiana people's Facebooks. They go through these long periods of time where they delete stuff off their Facebooks. Sonny can tell you all about it.
Right. Just shut up, Fibro. Fakes call. Fake solves. Correlation, not causation, though, right? What the hell is that word? Never heard
If
of it.
anyone should have been deleting their Facebooks, it should have been Brett Holder.
Right, I know. And the dude didn't. What does that tell you?
They're still up. He's like,
Ivy dropped there. I didn't even know you dropped there, Ivy.
Yeah, I think my laptop died.
Oh, is that what happened? um, Deb's channel there. Yeah, and Don't Hate Create. She has a YouTube channel as well called Don't Hate Create
oh, hey there.
on there. Turbo Time, like I said, I'll go check out some of your videos tonight. Don't tell Deb. Okay. I'll go check some.
Don't tell Deb. I hope so.
Yeah. So yeah, do you guys go ahead? If you guys have anything else, that you guys.
Is Fig still here?
Yeah, Figgy's here.
I was trying to research cell breathing, but I couldn't remember what the phrase was. So for some reason, my brain thought it was cell phone tickling. So then I Googled that, and then I came across a phone case that like somehow reacts when you tickle it and looks like human skin. And I do not appreciate having to look at that.
What do you, I don't know what the word you're talking. I don't know what the word you just said.
What?
Cell phone breathing was in his video about maybe what happened for the phone to come back on and like peeing with all the messages. I wasn't able to find anything about it because apparently there was a study about how cell phones affect your breathing, and that's like all Google wanted to show me. But my point was,
so nothing about court, nothing like from like the trial.
no, I'm just telling him I don't appreciate his video leading me to this human skin looking phone case that does something when you tickle it. Weird.
I mean, how can they even prove it's real skin? I'm kidding.
Wow.
And hey, Turbo, maybe if I watched Deb's video, I might have known that you reached the 1K. Yeah. I remember when we did that for True Crime Web Steve and a few other people actually on there.
Love Steve.
Yeah, I don't.
So,
I'm sorry.
so I know as far as like last minute things, and does anyone have anything before we get off?
Yeah. Does anyone have anything like there? Put a few. If you have a few questions right now to ask Alexa, Ivy, or Aspen, I'm just here for
I know that I know that there's this newer channel that asked me if I would come talk to them next Wednesday night. I believe the channel's name is Blue Eyed Trucker.
Oh yeah.
But it's just gonna be him and I. It's not gonna be like
That'd be cool.
Wait, say that again. Wait,
Blue Eyed Trucker.
what is
So
it?
I don't know him, but he had reached out to me and he seemed like a genuine nice guy. So I said, of course I would come on and talk to him.
Oh, nice, buddy. Blue Eyed Checker. Let me know when that is. Is it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it'll probably be at night, right?
Um,
No, just let me know when you do it. When you doing that?
I think it's Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Do you know what time?
Sunny. I mean, I know the day.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Okay, yeah. So, do you guys have anybody have any last minute things to say or a question to ask? Blue Eyed Trucker.
When is the next? Is it the 30th?
Oh,
23rd. What?
Oh, 23rd. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The 23rd next week.
Yeah.
Well, I keep thinking it's the 30th. 23rd.
Holy
yeah, it's gonna be Friday the 23rd.
I knew it was a Friday. I just thought it was.
Oh, is it Friday? Okay, it's a Friday. Oh, perfect. Have it
Blue
off.
Eyed.
Yeah, we need an explanation of the phone. Okay, what's this? We need an explanation of phone breathing. What's I Don't Hate Create talking about there? Phone breathing. This is when I call you and go.
So Fig had a video.
Yeah.
I guess it was, I can't remember all that was in it. I guess it was probably just talking about like the hearings and whatnot. And part of it, he talked about how Libby's cell phone had that ping at like 4 a.m. with like 14 or 15 messages come through or whatever.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So their cell phone breathing is where a cell phone occasionally sends out signals to maintain its connection to a cellular network, even if it has low battery or is idle.
Oh, okay. That's what Fig just said there. Is that what you were reading?
Yeah, I wasn't able to find anything about it though, because like I said, apparently there's like a study about cell phones and breathing, and that's the only thing Google wanted to show me.
What a weird term.
I'm not Googling cell phone breathing.
I know. That was the furthest thing from my mind about what.
I'll wait for the Cellubrite report to come out and clarify it all. But Tom
Thanks,
is also
Brandon.
live on Sunday. He's been gone for a month, and so he's got a live
What's
on.
he been doing? Has he been working or something again?
None of our business.
Shut up.
But he's been focusing on other things, and he's
Comedy?
doing, I think it's at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, and then he does one for his members. I think maybe Saturday, but
This Sunday coming up?
yes.
And
So
3 p.m.
for his members, I think it's the day he does one the day before. So if you join a membership on there, you can watch 2 lives with Tom this weekend.
Tom, I'm too cheap.
Maybe you should go and get gifted one. You never know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let me do that before we go. I think I haven't donated anything this month yet. Can't remember, to be honest with you. I'm losing track of my time. I think that there is still. Hold on. One sec. Let's see here. Have I done any so far? I can't remember actually.
Yeah, I do know what Vic's talking about there. I know it was called cell phone breathing.
Part 10. Ready? There we go. Round and round she goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. Okay, Ben was gifted a membership. Misty Free Spirit, Fig Solves. Let's see here. Note to Self and Shall.
Corruption.
Those were the 5 memberships. Thank you, YouTube. Sometimes you're good and sometimes you're not. Anyways, I appreciate
I put in a link to like wiki cell phone breathing, and that's the only other thing I found besides that the research thing, but I don't think that's the same kind. The same thing that
Hold on. Okay, I desert you in a second, but I won't write yet until Ivy finishes speaking. On Ivy.
Well, thank you, Don't Hate Crate. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for. Whoops, my bad.
You can tell how infrequently we do Delphi anymore. We didn't even have 100 people in here.
I mean, whoops, hold on. Still can't lose the Rickroll yet. It still perks me up. Yeah, where's I think Deb. I think there's actually a crime that we're still unaware about. I think Ray Jones died in Deb's basement, by the way. Just saying, Deb.
I haven't seen him in a while, and that explains it.
Because he's dead in Deb's basement. Well, there we go. Got 2 more to go, people. Yeah. On there. Yeah, I don't know. I just I have Fridays and Saturdays off, so those are my times, but we'll see what else comes up. I like I said, Delphi, I love it when you guys come on and talk about, use your professions and stuff like that. And have this little talk amongst ours.
Would my profession be know-it-all?
That's yeah. That would be yours.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, no. But when it comes to the paperwork side or that court side and and stuff like that, or like I said, Alexa's thoughts on being a criminal profiler, and we got Ivy there with that. Kind of like that. What do you want to call it? Healthcare side in a sense, or what would you
Oh, I
deem?
thought we were gonna say bullshit, but
Well, yeah,
I'll take
yeah,
that too.
yeah. Just
No,
Ivy,
rambling.
just show us your Google diploma.
I have several of those.
I haven't heard two more of them go off yet. Anyways, yeah. Anyway, that whole cell phone breathing thing, that's very interesting. Never heard that terminology before ever, and it's a weird terminology at that. I think the cell phone simply lost reception and then gained it later, or it could have been cell phone breathing. Ah, see
I,
that just sorry, but that's just creepy. The cell phone breathing just it reminds me of somebody calling you up and going, "I know, but you
Mhm.
I think after this is all said and done with and Delphi is over, I think I'm going to move to Indiana and I'm going to open a cabinet and door installation company, and I'm going to name it The Unhinged.
Yeah, the unhinged." Cute. Yeah, think so. Steam and Funker. All right. Well, I guess it's not going off. It only went off like 3 times, I think.
I will say
Anyway.
before we get off real quick, I didn't realize until fairly recently how spoiled I got being in your chats. I enjoy other channels, but your chat is definitely the best. Other chats, people get so mean and upset. Everybody here is just so chill and like.
I'm not gonna lie. I do love that. Every now and again we get a fucking loser that comes in, but that's very rare. Typically everyone's just very respectful, and they come
And
in
if you have different opinions, have different opinions. Just don't be
yeah,
an asshole about it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the part. Like, you can believe something completely different, but as long as you say it respectfully, everybody is going to be fine with it.
Yeah.
And that is not the case everywhere.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll catch up on a few more Delphis as it's getting closer and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it's great to have you guys.
Hey, all I need is $30,000, and I'll just camp out in front of the courthouse the whole time.
I know.
Uh,
I
Are
know.
you going for next week or no?
No, like I said, 3 times in one summer would be would be a bit of a stretch, especially for that's just going to be a half day.
Yeah.
I will go see.
Open to the public.
Um, but you're not going to the trial, right? You're not. Or
I would like to at least go for a portion, if possible.
yeah. You guys go over to Aspen Connor's YouTube channel. He has his Cash App there and Venmo and stuff like that. If you guys could help, shut up, Adam. If you guys could help Aspen Adam out, honestly, it would be great. Loves in there. He's done so much. He spent a ton of money going down in there. But if anyone wants to or can help him, just with some gas money, some hotel money, whatever, on there, that would be great. And he has it on his channel.
I appreciate it, but no one has to feel obligated.
He says that, yeah, you don't have to feel obligated, but just if you can, then go ahead. That would be awesome to help him out that way. I would.
But if I get enough, I'm just going to Europe, and I'm going to forget.
Yeah. Scam. Yeah. On there. Anyways, anyway. That's Aspen. He's throwing his voice.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Deb, in case you missed it, my comment, Ray is lost playing in the drama sector. In case you missed it, my comment, Ray is lost play. Talk about Ray Jones.
Well, the other nice thing is Taylor Swift is in Indianapolis during trial, like on November 1st.
Oh, is she?
Trial.
Yeah. Well, those poor murdered girls in England, they were doing a Taylor Swiftie studio at a dance studio.
And then in Vienna, they canceled the concerts.
In Vienna.
That's the one I was thinking of going.
To where, Alexa?
Vienna.
Yeah, Vienna. Yeah. All that. UK's going off with crazy shit right now. Honestly, I am so glad that we, US and Canada, I'm so grateful, honestly. Watching what I've watched recently and how, okay, like you guys, okay, be grateful that you fucking live in a country like you do. Because honestly, like that bullshit with social media and how basically if you post, like they're literally throwing people in jail from these protests for like 3 years, 20 something months because if you made a Facebook post that kind of incited anything to do with
That's
violence and
crazy.
shit like that, you see that shit?
Right. Can we? This is much more important than that. Um,
What?
CC Shakes has tickets. So I don't know who you are, but I love you, and
Yeah,
you tell me
you could just
when,
reach out.
where, and what to wear, and I will show up in Indianapolis,
Mhm.
and do whatever I need to for those.
Yeah, all of a sudden you guys are probably best friends now with
I
that
know.
one.
Can we mod her?
Yeah, you don't know. uh, well, let's see here. Click the thumbs up. Necessary evil. Click the thumbs up now, or else. Oh, big. Okay, so something like that in the UK, Deb, would probably get you about 3 years. To be honest, that sounds like a little threat to me. What was his wife said? Not
Mm.
sure. I don't know. Anyways, okay, I'm good. I am hot. I want ice cream. I'm gonna walk my ass. Yes, every now and again I walk my ass to a store. It's about 2 minutes away. I know. I know. Times are tough here. Work's 2 minutes away. Actually, so hold on. Then the store must be 2.5 minutes away. Honestly. But anyways, you guys, I want to say that I love you guys so
Be
much.
careful. It's dark there, right?
Eh? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
9 o'clock. Yeah, be careful.
yeah. I
I know
know.
it's dangerous.
I know. I'm gonna walk across the bridge.
I've heard there are criminals running all over Vancouver.
Can you imagine Devin the Clink? No. Okay, this is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Could you imagine Devin the Clink? Seriously, right?
Sunny,
You
Sunny.
want,
So when we spoke to people that were well proficiently um, familiar with prison and jail,
yeah.
um, who did they say would end up running the entire place?
Basically the gays would, yeah, right?
I
You.
mean, specifically,
Oh,
who,
um,
who would run it?
um, you.
I was
Right.
gonna say Deb would have an
Wait,
underground commissary, like
wait. Well, what are you looking for me to say?
Well, not me. That I would go into
Yeah,
prison and run the whole
right,
place.
right. We'd frickin' put oil and band-aids on your head and
So now
feed
I
you.
have. So now I have a false sense of security that if I ever have
It's
go to jail, I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's
run the
fine.
show.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you,
I'll start a
Miranda.
cult.
you better find some YouTube videos on how to make shivs and such.
Yeah, I'll
Right.
start. I start a cult.
Okay, let me quickly do this. Thank you, Miranda, for the super chat. Thank you, Barefoot Bear. Now, Barefoot Bear did say to you after he said, remember it said 214, and then you said it's about 219, and then you said something about 2 years after, and then his question was that before or after? But I wasn't really sure what that.
The only thing that was stated was that in 2019 that he was admitted for more than 1 week um, for mental health reasons.
Yeah,
But
and I think it was for maybe I just assumed it was suicidal, but it wasn't for alcohol like we originally
no,
heard.
no, it was said for mental health.
Yeah. Okay.
And it just said it was at some point in 2019.
Hmm. Okay. And thank you, Shakes, for the becoming a member, and congratulations to all those people that got not like it's anything special, but hey, you don't have to deal with slow mode. You can use emojis, okay? But
Sunny, now after you go look up that 27-year-old missing girl in North Carolina while you're getting your ice cream.
okay. Oh, right. Okay. Um, yeah. After I watch Monkey BB, okay, my little favorite show. Okay. I think we're good. Wait, no. Thank you, mods. Thank you, guys. Um, Even the stalker Deb. I mean, I guess I kind of let her stay a little bit longer than I should have, probably, but whatever. You guys. So Deb's channel. Don't hate, create. Turbo time. Like I said, I didn't know Turbo Time even had a channel. Now we do. Okay, or at least some of us know.
And it's a good channel, I have to say. I think Deb's and hers are one of the best ones too.
Yeah, and it's true because I don't like
Nothing
reading.
but
I probably
facts.
should have listened to Dub's like videos, probably.
I mean, Fig is always informative too, but
Oh, Fig, yeah, Fig. He put out a video. I know, like I said, I watched about maybe 10 or 15 minutes of it. I think on there, and then it's just like I said, after a day's
That's
work,
a record for you.
eh?
That's a record for you. 10 or 15 minutes.
Most times I have watched the like videos like when Deb has well, typically I think she put out a longer one, but typically Deb's videos are like a few minutes. Those aren't hard to listen to. But Figs I've typically listened through the whole way. Whenever Fig has put out a video. But I'm not gonna lie, like just lately I've just been so exhausted. So my downtime is watching, like, yes, I watch different things and I see different stories come up. Lately I've been into the whole Mr. Beast shit going on. And
I've been
my
half following.
A
I've only been not even half following that, but I like heard the beginning of it.
well, me talking about Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I it's kind of one of those personal things to me. It's kind of like I probably might do like a video on it or a live just because
You
I
should.
want to talk about it, you know. Yeah, if I do, will you join me, Ivy?
Do at least a video to get me up to speed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's anyway, I won't talk about it now because I could just go on for about that one. Anyways, I got my own personal thoughts. But anyways,
oh god, now you have to tell them quickly. What do you think it happened?
say it again.
Now you have to say them quickly. What do you think? The whole Mr. Beast and
About You know, no, I'm gonna say that for Mr. Beast Live. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No spoiler alerts here. No, it's just that I felt like I watch Mr. Beast videos, type of thing, and like the stuff that's going on. Like, let me just say this. Like there's a lot of content creators regardless of what it is, like the Jay Slater case, that milk the fuck out of something. Like there's still people just milking the fuck out of it because anytime you twist it to a conspiracy, instantly you got the viewers and those people, right? And it's so funny how there's more of those people than there is just the average normal kind of thinking people, the ones that just love to see those things. But anyways, so that's what Mr. Beast, kind of what's going on there is that there's like so many people ride off of Mr. Beast, right? His name, right, it's their income source, type of thing. But like the thing is, the sad part about this is that at the end of the day, Mr. Beast is a good dude, right? He really is.
Those chocolate bars are gross, though. I'm sorry.
Eh?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm like, those chocolate bars are gross.
But I've never had one.
They sell them at Walmart. Somebody gave me one.
Hold on, I love Canadian.
But actually, I have a phone call I've got to go make, so I am going to jump off and say goodnight to everyone. Okay.
have a good
All right,
night.
bye-bye.
But let's do this again soon. Mwah. Bye.
Love you. Okay, bye. But anyways, bottom line is that you see all these people attacking him and stuff like that. I mean, I think Mr. Beast, I think he wastes a lot of fuck ton of money on useless shit that people don't actually care about. Meaning, you don't need to spend $2 to $5 million on a stupid fucking video. Like, meaning it's his money. But honestly, dude, come back down to reality. The only person you're trying to achieve anything for truly is yourself. It's how far can how he can elevate it. I think he lost sense of, like nobody gives a fuck if a video is 10K, 50K, whatever, as long as it's a good dang video, right, that he puts out. But it's kind of like him racing his own self, going, the next something has to be better until you pinnacle at the top there. I think he's lost focus. I mean, the dude's only like 24 years old, right? I mean, honestly.
Really? He's that young?
Yeah, he's just he's so young, right? But the gist of Mr. Beast to me is like a good guy behind it all. But, I mean, I fucking hate hypocrites, right? All these people sit there and bash him like you guys like not you guys, but that people live in their fucking perfect glass house without a broken window to it, as they're too busy trashing somebody that actually freaking does give back, and everyone's trying to twist it and turn it. And I hate it when people are such fucking hypocrites that way. It's like, again, these people that are riding off of his name, like there's some obviously truth, but here, let me bring up something from fucking 2014. And it's just stupid shit. Because back in 2014 or 2008, okay, comedians were allowed to make racial jokes or this, and people deemed it as funny. Now you can't say fucking boo without getting, some sort of cancel culture. So you don't see, oh, what happened? Oh my right?
Hey.
I thought before because I was jumping and kind of like bumping in my chair. But this whole cancel culture thing that people do, and they ride, and there's little fucking peons following the next, and they take one thing. So do they go to the same corporations that have hired a pedophile in their life and stuff like that, or whatever, and trash them? But no, we gotta try to bring Mr. Beast down and whatever. He ain't going anywhere. In fact, he's now at 310 million subscribers. But like, don't get me wrong, there's nobody perfect. But it's when people take things like, oh my God, in this video, he said this and that, and then it's just like a swarm of fucking, like bees or whatever, like vultures. They go and they sit there, and Mr. Beast is done for. He's over his career. He's this, he's that. And it's like, fuck off. He ain't going anywhere. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not gonna kill. He's got too many fans and too much money to like have his career killed. I don't watch him, but I get the gist of what he does. The thing that I worry about with I guess YouTubers in general who do that kind of stuff, even if they're not as big, is exploiting other people to get good videos. I'm not saying he does that, but that's just my worry about like that genre in general.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, honestly, what he does, like, meaning for his own, like the actual Mr. Beast channel, I think he lost touch of reality a fucking bit there. And again, at the end of the day, it's mostly targeted towards kids, right? Like his channel and stuff like that. Like, what were you gonna say, Ivy?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you said something there. Alexa, were you gonna say something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I just feel like, like Mr. Beast is mostly like most people, right? We all got a little bit of, evil in us. And there's some people that have a lot of evil, but most people try to do good things for the most part. There's a lot of good people out there that try to do good things. I just think that his whole, like, I'm sorry, dude, you could do so many better fucking things with $5 million than to waste it on a goddamn YouTube. Like, if you pay $1 million for a YouTube thumbnail, what the fuck? Seriously, that's how much he does. Like, he pays for his YouTube thumbnails, like these massive amounts. No one gives a shit, to be honest. It's almost like somebody trying to outdo themselves. But so for me, to watch always how he has like these same content creators, you know what? Why don't you fucking get the small channels on there, right? Instead of always these like these 5 point, 10 point something million people. I don't give a fucking shit about them. They already got money and they're competing for this or that and stuff. So that part, it bugs me. It's his money, but it bugs me.
I feel like when people get money and like get at the top of the game, they lose. Us regular people, we have people who would tell us that's stupid and you need to stop that. But when you get up there, you lose the people who will tell you that. And you just get surrounded by yes people, and then it's downhill from there.
I think he got a lot of people that definitely are a lot of yes people. But anyways, it's just, I hate hypocrisy of people that are start bashing them. You know, it's probably like these people that probably abuse their wife, abuse their husband, abuse their kids, and they're the ones preaching, going, "Oh my God, he needs to come down, burn in hell, blah 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 blah." And it's like, look at your own damn garden before you start. Because honestly, there's not really a lot on Mr. Beast, but it's just the fact that they're all these content creators are just trying to ride off it like he's going down. And it's really about, it's just really about clicks and views for themselves off of Mr. Beast's back,
Mhm,
in a
mhm.
sense. And so, and I mean, it's not like there's not some truth to stuff in within the mix, but it's just, it's kind of like, oh, wait, oh, we forgot about, Chris Ava over here now. Now we're just going to focus on Mr. Beast, because Mr. Beast, I just saw this because a guy showed it on his thing. He has 15.7K subscribers, and he was probably at 2.3. Okay, so get a load of this. Off of 122,000 views. Okay, that would be fucking nice one day. Anyway, 120,000 views. I seen his revenue for that video, $685,
Wow.
right? Just imagine. So when these YouTubers complain that they're fucking not making shit, equate that one in your head. 122 views, $685. I'm lucky if I see 2K views. So whenever someone says you're doing this for money and shit, fuck off.
I don't know if it still applies now, but one YouTuber I watched, she had I think at the time she had a little under 100,000 subs and then would get, I don't know, like 50,000 maybe 40 or 50,000 views on a video. She was making 10,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends, because I see another one too, and I think she has, I think, close to 60. And I think it depends who you partner with. And I mean, she's
Yeah.
saying that now she was able to quit her job and her husband's job.
Yeah.
So she
Well,
must be
exactly.
making a lot of money. And I mean, she's
Mhm.
always traveling. They moved, they
Yeah.
upgraded their house. And I'm just thinking, like, oh, I would have waited a
I was
little bit.
consistent enough to make a channel, but
Mm.
I'm not.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, that's the thing, is that a lot of people are truly in it for money versus anything. Like they just want the money. They want to put out videos. They want the money. They want the fast track. They want to get those subscribers. However, they get them to come to their channel, it doesn't really matter to them, and stuff like that, because that's just who they are. And like, so be it. There's always these type of people in the world, right? The fucking ones that will walk over whoever to get whatever for themselves. I wish I could lower myself that badly, but I can't. I just can't.
I don't like when they make money, and this is something bothers me personally, is when the YouTubers it started like boohoo my life, and they're making people pay for their things. Like I saw this YouTuber that broke his camera. And I mean he has a lot of money. He's on holiday. And
Oh
you break
yeah,
the camera and then you make your subscribers pay for the camera. Like no,
yeah.
to me, that's wrong. Like
Yeah.
no.
Well, that kind of reminds me of that one guy that I can't think of his name, but like he's a preacher of Jesus Christ and stuff like that on his channel. That like meaning
Oh, those are the worst.
I can't. But anyways, he always that's why he's like let's see if we can make it to 11 super chats on the choo choo train tonight. You know, and it's kind of like. Well, I appreciate the cute choo-choo train thing, but it's kind of like, let me just see if I can get myself 11 super chats tonight. Come on,
Or
guys.
shaming people for not giving money. That's another thing that bothers me. Like,
I, you know, when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to gifting and stuff, people are going to do what they want to do regardless, right? If they appreciate a channel and say, hey, I appreciate you, like, we got some super chats or someone joins them, whatever, but like I said, it doesn't matter. I mean, each to their own what they do, but it's kind of like when anyone ever fucking whines, and you look at their views and they got like 50K views or 80K views, or they ain't freaking poor people. No matter what they say to you, they ain't poor. Like, because sometimes like money revolves around a lot of people. It's true, it does. So however somebody gets there is their own, choice and path, how they do it. But when I seen 122K views for 680, yeah, I mean, not gonna lie. I was like, oh fuck,
It's a lot.
shit.
And he spends a lot too. I mean, that's
You
just
know, I'm lucky just to pay off my uh to be honest with you. I'm just lucky to pay off the stuff that I pay for YouTube.
Yeah.
But anyways, um but yeah, Mr. Beast, regardless, like I said, he has like, 310 million. Guy ain't going nowhere. I'd like to do a live on him
I
with
think
all.
he's gonna become bigger than he was before.
You know what? Yeah. You know, I just, like I said, there's always going to be haters going to hate. There's always going to be those people trying to cancel people, like, because they're jealous, because somebody is successful and stuff like that. No matter who you are, doesn't matter if it's, Elon Musk getting himself in a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, I mean, they all do. I mean, I personally don't get his videos, but I know like my kids love him,
Yeah.
and they're like always
No,
eating their chocolates. I think the chocolate tastes like crap, but
yeah.
hey,
I guess it's kind of like my thing is that is he really doing it for the kids? I don't think so.
no,
I think he's doing it for his
for himself.
himself.
Yeah,
It's
of
what
course.
he wants. It's not necessarily because nobody needs to spend 5 million or 1 million on a thumbnail to get
And
your
he got to that category that he doesn't have anybody to
yeah,
compete with. You know,
you
so
know. Like I said, it's hard because somebody can do whatever they want with their money, but I just think what a waste. Think like seriously, you help like basically he uses his channels to pay for philanthropy. The flat like he uses the other channels to pay for his videos in this right, and it's kind of like, but you don't need to do that, dude. Come off your fucking high horse that you've gotten yourself on. Nobody gives a shit if they're a $50,000 video, 10,000. It's again, you don't need to, like, it's like I said, it's like him racing against himself. It's not even about the kids, it's about his own personal agenda of all these different things that he can do. And the more, and it's kind of like someone starting off with $1 and then all of a sudden they're at the millions of dollars. At what point, you know, and,
mhm.
and some of them are kind of repetitive in like the same way as well. But like, but I'm really tired of seeing like these YouTubers that, like, oh, hey, Mr. Beast, oh, fancy seeing KJI or K, whatever fuck his name is, on there again. Oh, hey, look at this YouTuber. Like, they don't have millions of dollars already with their million subscribers or 3 million subscribers. How about you come off your little high horse there and maybe look at some of the lower channels and give them a chance to gain some traction on YouTube instead of always like, you know what I mean? It's like giving the rich the rich. That's what it feels like to me. So when I see these certain YouTubers on his videos, I'm just like, puke gag, whatever. Anyway, oh, the real dragon. Hey, Deb. Okay, we went on a whole different tangent there, people, for anyone that's watching this part. But we're gonna go. Ivy. I forgot Ivy was here. I was too busy because your screen, your thing is black, Ivy. So
Oh,
it was just me and Alexa.
I'm hungry. I gotta find some food.
I'm gonna go get my ice cream. Oh yeah, I got about a half an hour. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great night. Justice for Abby and Libby, of course, you guys. And
Always.
hopefully that day will come, and yeah, hopefully we can do another live together soon enough.
And the families too. Always keep them in their prayers because
Yeah.
what they're going through must be really difficult.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. You guys have a great night. Thanks again for
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
mods. Thank you, Alexa, Aspen, and
Thank you for
Ivy.
having me.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye, Ivy. Bye.
Perfect night. The world is cold. We stand surrounded.